everyone. How you doing? Welcome back to this meeting of the Tianshi Club. It's been a little while, hasn't it? Yeah. I was looking back. I think the last stream that I actually did, I think ended up being last year's anniversary stream. My bad. But as the title says, once a year monkey is maybe still better than no monkey. I hope you agree. Oh, hello, hemoglobin. You know what's up? Hey, Shatter, good to see you. You back? I'm back. Oh, wave. Hello, Key Energy. Welcome. Are you back? I am back. I am here. Hello? Monkey is here to say hello. Long time no see, Julia. You're darn tootin' it is. I suppose it's been a little while. Gonna take her 30 minutes to get to this comment. Not yet. Stream has just begun, so Monkey has not had the chance to get super behind yet. Not yet. By the way, let me know if audio or anything is off. I had to go through and make sure all the settings were still working from before. Because it has been a while. So let me know. To my ear, the music is a little quiet, but I don't know what it is on your side, if you can hear it or not. Hope you've been well now. Good to see you. Thank you, Shata. I hope you've been well too. Bit early for that. Yes, exactly. Give me a little while, then I'll be... then Monkey will be 30 minutes behind. But for now, I think we're okay. Maybe for once Monkey won't get behind. That would be something, wouldn't it? Honestly, when a monkey appears, I know things are gonna be alright. Aww. That's very kind of you to say. Thank you. I can just barely tell the music is playing. I can't hear the music. Okay, thank you. I thought it was low, but I figured I should check with all of you first. Let's see. I think... let's boost... How's that? Is it still too quiet? Is it too loud now? Just right? Let me know. Which is possibly ideal. Oh, I see. Interesting point, Hemoglobin. This is true. I guess I could keep it on the lower end. You're good now. Ah, thank you. Oh, how have all of you been doing this past year? It feels a little silly to Monkey to celebrate 5 years when Monkey's been missing so often recently. I feel like I don't really deserve it, but 5 years though is still kind of an incredible milestone, Monkey thinks at least. In fact, we got lucky and today is exactly 5 years from Monkey's first stream. When Monkey first started streaming, Monkey didn't actually have a schedule. Pretty sure Monkey was just deciding when to stream next. After one stream was done, scheduling the next stream at a random time to see what worked. But Monkey, luckily this time, was able to stream on the exact anniversary, which is kind of nice. Welcome back, Monkey. Oh, hello, fans. Welcome. Thank you. Also, happy 5-year anniversary. Thank you. I appreciate it. Monkey is now 5. 5 is a pretty nice number too. One of Monkey's favorites, somehow. Nice round number. Real life gets in the way, I guess. Yeah, that does tend to happen. Welcome home, little sister now. Hello, Rajanka. Thank you. Exactly 5 years. The passage of time is wild. Isn't it? I don't know. Does it feel like 5 years to all of you? Certainly, I don't know. 5 years. Does it feel like 5 years? Not really. Oh. Monkey was also not sure today what exactly to put on the program. If today was going to be just a chatting stream, or if Monkey might try to play something. Monkey, if you have been following Monkey's Twitter or Blue Sky, Monkey has not been very active. But Monkey did recently post that I've been playing some Genshin. In fact, I posted a little while back also. I had been playing some Breath of the Wild. These are Monkey's like first open world games aside from Pokemon. Monkey's first open world game was Pokemon when they started introducing open world into Pokemon. And as it turns out, Monkey seems to like that. So Monkey blew through Breath of the Wild, which was Monkey's first Zelda game too. More or less finished. There's still some quests here and there that Monkey's thinking I might want to complete. But finished the main plotline kind of by accident, actually. Funny story, that one. Accidentally finished Breath of the Wild. And then went back to tie up some loose ends. But I'm thinking of playing the next one in the series soon. What's it called? Tears of the Kingdom? Because I liked Breath of the Wild so much. So we'll see. Monkey might start playing that. But in the meantime, because Monkey liked Breath of the Wild so much, one of Monkey's friends recommended that maybe Monkey should try Genshin. Because of probably all the reasons why all of you were recommending Genshin to Monkey several years ago. But Monkey hadn't thought I'd be able to play it. And it is a lot more complicated than Breath of the Wild. But as it turns out, Monkey can play it. And so it's become Monkey's recent obsession. Been playing a lot of Genshin. Combat is still kind of difficult for Monkey and not Monkey's preference. If Breath of the Wild and Genshin didn't have any combat, just puzzles and things, Monkey would probably like them even more. But as they are, it's close enough that Monkey will do the combat if I have to, but mostly I can focus on other things. And enjoy the other things, like the exploration and the puzzles and the cool characters and story. Monkey was just off on a tangent for a while. Where was I? Let's see. What's new with you? It's been a year. Oh! Exactly what Monkey was just talking about. A lot of what's new with Monkey is that Monkey can now play games like Breath of the Wild and Genshin. Would not have been possible before. In some ways, I think Breath of the Wild trained Monkey to be able to play some Genshin because learning how to do combat-y things. I forget you say Pokemon weird? Do I say Pokemon weird? I don't know. After 5 years of unmatched wisdom, oh dear, hello Shaman Blade, and unstoppable power, the Monkey returns, calm as the mountain, fierce as the storm. You're a real poet. I am here to offer my yearly tribute of words and humbly receive your blessing. Oh, thank you so much, Shaman Play. I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. Your tribute of words. Very beautiful words. And, of course, you may have Monkey's blessing. The exploration can be a lot of fun in open world games. Yeah. Monkey... You might have remembered that back when Pokemon started releasing open world games with open world mechanics, Monkey was pretty apprehensive because Monkey figured that would make it... it wasn't what Monkey was used to, and so I was afraid that maybe I wouldn't enjoy this style of game, but I had never tried it before, so I didn't know for sure. Turns out, Monkey does like it. Monkey has a pretty good time with open world games. And in some ways, it kind of makes a lot of sense because Monkey, even when playing the original Pokemon, it does kind of seem like what Monkey really liked to do was to visit all corners of the reachable map. And Monkey would always try to see, can I go this way yet? Will they let me or not? Even though the experience was mostly like single path, right? Monkey would still always try to find all the edge cases and talk to all the NPCs and all of that stuff. And so as it turns out, that seems to work very well for Monkey in an open world setting too. And especially when they've got these beautiful open world like environments that they set up, and Monkey can just kind of wander through and explore and see the mountains and swim across the rivers. Sometimes it's just fun to see the new places. I guess. I don't know. Now that Monkey thinks about it, do Poly and Pal World count as open world games? I guess they do. So I guess Breath of the Wild is not Monkey's second open world game. Monkey had kind of forgotten that those two, because they're kind of like... Well, at least Palia is supposed to be kind of MMORPG-like, I guess? I don't know if you usually call those open world games, but it does have that open world feeling. And Pal World just felt like Pokemon, so... But Pal World's definitely open world, because it follows the... Like, you can go anywhere in any order and unlock areas and stuff, I guess. See, Monkey's just not familiar enough with video games to properly recognize genres, I guess. So I guess Monkey has been playing a lot of open world games recently, starting to understand what that means and what Monkey likes about it. I like it when they have plot line quests though. Power World, at least while Monkey was playing it, Monkey hasn't played it much recently. But Power World, when Monkey was playing it, didn't have a lot of storyline yet. Monkey enjoyed discovering like the history of the island and that sort of thing. But there weren't any story quests, is what I think they're called. I think that would add to it, because that is one thing that Monkey likes as well. Like, I think that's one reason Monkey really liked Stardew Valley, for example, and Pokemon in general. And yeah. Oops, Monkey's gonna get behind again. Breath of the Wild is funny that way, yeah. Which way was it? What did Monkey say about Breath of the Wild? Oh no! Monkey's already too far behind. For a Zelda game, you must have a crazy backlog. So it seems. Monkey really liked Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom is supposed to be very similar. So that's Monkey's next in the queue. But Monkey's heard that a lot of the older games are kind of classics, like Wind Waker, and Monkey doesn't remember the names of all the titles. But yeah, It's how many Zelda games are there? Monkey supposes I do have a bit of a backlog if I were to play all of them. I don't know if I'll play all of them. I hear they all are kind of different, so we'll see. Oh, there's like the time travel one. That sounded kind of interesting. And there's the new one that's a Zelda game that's actually about Zelda, where Zelda's the main character. That one looked cute. But Monkey has no idea about whether or not I will enjoy those game mechanics, but might be worth a try. Hi Monkey. Hi Mongoose, welcome back. Good to see you. Accidental completion is a funny thing. Oh yes. See, this is the problem. This is the problem. So, Monkey mentioned that even in old Pokemon, Monkey would always be trying to test the limits. Oh, can I go to this town yet? What if I do this? What if I do that? And usually, because Pokemon is on rails, it wouldn't be too big of a problem. You couldn't do anything out of order, out of the order that the developers expected you to do it in, more or less. Monkey wasn't like a big, like, let's hack the game kind of thing, just in terms of the exploration and talking to people and stuff. So that, without running into any, like, bugs or hacks, there wasn't any sort of out-of-order things that Monkey could do. But with Zelda, one thing that Monkey was not warned of is that not only can you do things out of the order that they expected, because they definitely expect you to fight the 4, what do you call them? Probably mini-bosses. They called them in the game... something or other beasts. Divine beasts. In a particular order. It's actually... After Monkey finished all the Divine Beasts, Monkey recognized all of a sudden that Monkey did the order wrong. First of all. Monkey's pretty sure the first Divine Beast that I defeated, that I encountered, that I faced, was the Gerudo Divine Beast, the one in the desert. And after that, Monkey got a little bit discouraged and thought to myself, okay, I'm not ready to fight Divine Beasts yet. That was very difficult. The puzzle was fun but difficult, and then the actual battle was super difficult. And so Monkey kind of held off on any more Divine Beasts after that for a little bit, thinking, oh, it's going to be so difficult. And then Monkey tried another Divine Beast eventually. Which one was it? It might have been the fish people. Monkey might have gone to the fish people next. And Monkey was very confused, actually. Confused because... Was it the fish people? I think it was... So there's the desert people, the fish people, the Gorons, and the bird people. Yeah, so it was probably the fish people. Monkey actually getting the desert one first though was really helpful, Glow, because the superpower it gives you is so powerful. Monkey was then able to breeze through the rest of the open world exploration using that OP superpower from the Desert Divine Beast. But Monkey went to do the fish people's Divine Beast and was super confused because Monkey thought, wait, that's it? The puzzle was a lot simpler. The desert puzzle, Monkey's head was spinning because everything was spinning. Monkey could hardly keep my grounding straight. Where does this go? Turn it this way, turn it that way. The fish people was so simple, the puzzle. And then the boss. Monkey got it through it pretty much no problem, if I remember correctly. It really wasn't too bad at all. And so Monkey thought, wait, what? That's it? And then Monkey learned that the desert, they expected you to go last. That was the hardest Divine Beast, and the rest was all easy from there. Monkey didn't expect that. So, Monkey did that a little wrong, I guess. And then the other thing that Monkey did kind of wrong. Man, at this point, Monkey's not even sure. Okay, maybe Monkey did get the Master Sword after that, I think. Not 100% sure. I think I had it. Yeah, I think I had it. But then, Monkey realized that for Hyrule Castle, so there's the front entrance where there's all those, what do you call it? Those automatons. The spider automatons swarming around out in the Hyrule field. And Monkey was like, oh, okay, so clearly I'm supposed to go through there. But Monkey is not confident enough yet to fight these ancient... What do they call them? Guardians. Monkey was like, Monkey's gonna wait until I can gather enough materials to craft the entire Guardian set, so that Monkey will be armored and weaponized, I guess, to be strong against the Guardians. Monkey likes to... Because Monkey's not very good at combat and doesn't enjoy combat, perhaps somewhat ironically, Monkey tends to over-level so that when combat happens, Monkey will always be able to get through it quite easily. And I guess in Breath of the Wild, over-leveling is kind of having the right gear, since there's no actual stats leveling. So Monkey was like, definitely not ready for Hyrule Castle yet. I can't even get in through the front door. But due to some hints from, I think, some NPC side characters and stuff like that, Monkey realized that there might be a way to sneak into the castle from the back. And so Monkey got really curious whether they'd actually let Monkey in, or if there was some sort of gating there. Like they kick you out. And there were also some side quests that involved like gathering some recipes from inside the castle and stuff like that. So Monkey thought, okay, maybe I'll go peek. I'll see if they let me in and see what the situation is out there anyway. Scope it out. So Monkey snuck into the castle. And after getting into the castle, there were lots of more guardians and stuff, but Monkey could hide from them mostly and run and sneak. And once you're inside the castle, they're not so much of a problem. They're more guarding the entrances. So Monkey got into full exploration mode and thought to myself, okay, getting in is so hard, was so difficult. I almost died so many times. I might as well explore as much as I can while I'm here, because otherwise I'm not going to be back until it's time to face Ganon. And I don't want to have to go through this multiple times, so, more times than I have to. So I'm gonna explore while I'm in. While I've already made it past, before the enemies respawn, that kind of thing. While I still know vaguely the layout. So Monkey started exploring the castle, exploring every corner that Monkey could find, and slowly made my way through the underground portions, up to the top. And then there was like the throne room, and it was clearly sus. Clearly sus. In fact, there might have even been a pop-up that was like, face Ganon? And Monkey was like, ha ha ha. Monkey can't face Ganon. They're not gonna let Monkey face Ganon. Yeah, Monkey doesn't even have all 4 divine beasts yet, so they're probably just gonna kick Monkey out. Monkey thought that the divine beasts were like keys. Like you needed to gather all 4 keys before you could open the Ganon door. Because, I mean, they have those lasers, right? They point to the castle. So I was like, that's a key. That's gonna open the door. So Monkey was like, oh, it's no problem. I'll just go look at Ganon. I'll just go look. Yeah, I guess they didn't... whatever pop-up or anything must not have said fight Ganon. It must have said something... I knew it was the Ganon area. But I was pretty sure I would click, okay, let's take a look. And they'd be like, oh, you don't have all the divine beasts yet. Time to go back. And I thought, okay, and then I'll leave the castle. As it turns out... No, not only are the divine beasts not keys, and you can just waltz on in and face Ganon whenever you want, but once you start the encounter, you cannot leave. You cannot save and leave. Monki could not find any way to say like, wait, get me out of here. Monki didn't mean to do this. Oh. And one thing Monki didn't quite understand until after the whole thing was over is that the two divine beasts that Monki had not defeated, if you haven't defeated the divine beast yet, then you face it as part of the lineup to defeating Ganon, to facing Ganon. So 2 of them showed up and I had to fight both of those, and then I had to fight Ganon, who has his like multiple different like, fight him in this way, now you fight him in that way, now you fight him this other way. Monkey wasn't expecting any of this, remember? Monkey was just in exploration mode. Monkey just thought I'd check out the castle. But and Monkey was entirely expecting to die this entire time. Monkey was like, oh, I guess this is it. Oh my goodness. But put it in my best effort because I was there. And every time Ganon changed, Monkey was like, oh man, there's another one. And then all of a sudden, there was Ganon has been defeated. And Monkey went, what? What? Monkey's not supposed to be able to defeat Ganon yet. Monkey wasn't ready. I hadn't put together a loadout where I was like, okay, this is gonna be my facing Ganon loadout. I still didn't get all the, you know, Guardian armor and all that, though I guess that might not have been very useful against Ganon. Luckily, I did have the the lightning divine beast thing superpower. That was extremely helpful against one of the forms of Ganon. But like, I don't even know what I would do if I hadn't had that. But somehow, in this whirlwind where Monkey didn't have any time to think, Monkey defeated Ganon. And Zelda shows up and she's like, good job. And Monkey goes, oh no. Oh no. Wait, I wasn't done. I have so many stories left to finish. And they roll credits and Monkey is having a mild panic moment of, but I can't have finished the game. There was so much more I wanted to do. I didn't even get to finish the stories of the 2 divine beasts that I didn't finish, right? Not to mention all the side quests that I had picked up along the way. And so Monkey, oh no, this is no good. But luckily, it seems the game developers they anticipated, maybe not exactly this way of playing the game, but they anticipated that you might not have finished everything that you wanted to do. And so they did this really interesting thing that Monkey thinks as a choice is a little bit... It feels a little bit weird. It feels a little weird as a player, but it works alright. And I've been told maybe they did this in previous games too. But after you defeat Ganon, and you're like, woohoo, hero! There's no epilogue or anything. You just get dropped back literally directly before you enter the Ganon room. You get dropped back into your save point then, as if nothing had happened. Except you get a little star on your save file to say, okay, on this save file I already defeated Ganon. Oh, and there is a little bit of an artifact that you can get because Monkey was using the game camera, the camera within the game, not the screenshot camera, but the one in the game, to take photos of Ganon and stuff because it looked kind of cool. And I was like, well, I'll have a photo for later to say like, hey, look at that one time when I tried to defeat Ganon and then I died. Or something. It just was a cool photo. And those photos do remain, so it's not an entire wipe of your progress at defeating Ganon. It does save some of it, but more or less in the world you can pretend, everyone pretends like it hasn't happened. You go back to the original town and they're like, oh, Ganon is still at large. And so story-wise it felt a little weird. Monki was like, on the one hand, I'm glad because it means I can go back to where I expected to be. Remember, I'd expected that after exploration I would just go back and do other things in the game. go to the other divine beasts, for example. So Monki was glad that it didn't affect that progression at all, and I could just keep playing like I hadn't accidentally defeated Ganon. But at the same time there was this sort of anti-climax to it of I'm the hero of Hyrule, guys. I defeated Ganon. Hey, it's me. I defeated Ganon. And they're like, what are you talking about? Castle is still haunted. So, yeah. Interesting choice, but I did at least go back and defeat the other two divine beasts, where I then thought, you know, these would have been very useful powers to have earlier on if I hadn't been so afraid of facing the divine beasts. Some of them were useful for combat, but some of them were just useful for exploration. Yeah. So I did those things. I did the major plot lines. And Monki just has a couple of small, what do you call them? Subquests? Side quests? That Monki's thinking of finishing up just because Monki already started it or found it. But now that Monki's done Ganon and all of the divine beasts and all of the main story quests, Monki's motivation to continue Breath of the Wild went down a little bit. Monki's explored most of the main areas. So that's why I think Monki fell off of it a little bit. Might go back soon though, because it is just a very nice, pleasant world to move around in. It's just entirely pleasant, all of the environments. Monki enjoyed going through basically all of the environments. Except for when it was raining. Rain sucks in Breath of the Wild. I hope they fixed that in Tears of the Kingdom, but probably they didn't because it's supposed to be a feature. But the worst thing about rain is that Monki really liked climbing in Breath of the Wild. Just climbing to get places. Every time Monki saw a mountain, Monki climbed the mountain. It was very satisfying. But in Breath of the Wild, if it's raining, you cannot climb. You essentially cannot climb. You will always fall down before you make it any significant distance. And then, if you happen to be climbing over water or something like that, you might inevitably run out of stamina and die. The Monki had that happen a couple of times. That was frustrating. But otherwise, Monki liked all the environments, and so it might be nice to just wander around for a bit. It was very beautiful. Monki can kind of see now also why when... Was it Sword and Shield that came out with the open world stuff? People were very highly critical of Pokemon's... how much value you got for the standard Nintendo price. You still have to pay the standard Nintendo price, but the amount of content was in no way comparable. I can see that now. It's in no way comparable to Breath of the Wild. Monki still enjoyed both games, but Monki has a better understanding now of that criticism that people had. Playing Genshin has been an interesting... progression from that as well, because while it doesn't have the same polish as Breath of the Wild, Monki doesn't find the environments, for example, quite as like all-encompassingly like, oh yeah, this is nice. The climbing isn't as satisfying, the gathering isn't... There's a lot of little things here and there. The dialogue in the localizations can be kind of strange sometimes, and they can have some very basic typos and stuff. The polish is not Breath of the Wild polish, but maybe Breath of the Wild is just special. Especially because Genshin is in some ways extremely ambitious. I would say compared to Breath of the Wild, but when Breath of the Wild came out, it was ambitious in terms of how much was in it for a console game at the time. So I can't really say compared to Breath of the Wild when it came out, But compared to Breath of the Wild now versus Genshin now, Genshin now is pretty ambitious in how much it has going on. I guess is a way to put it. There's a lot in it that in a free-to-play slash freemium game. I guess it's a freemium game is what they call it, right? There's a lot of content. There's a lot of stuff to do and stuff you can do and that sort of thing. So I give it a little bit of a pass, especially they're not a big studio like Nintendo, and it's still a really fun game. But it just made me also appreciate Breath of the Wild more for the things that it does really well. Monki went on a big story time there. Where was Monki? Good to see you back, Monki. Hello, Wonder Waffle. Sorry it took me so long to get to your message. Welcome back to the TST Club. Good to see you. The gacha comes for us all, lol. I'm more of a ZZZ clown, but Genshin has a wonderful art style. Ah, I see. So, Monkey has not really played much of the gacha mechanics in Genshin yet. Monkey's a little tempted, because it does seem kind of fun and stuff like that. But so far, Monkey has not yet spent any money on Genshin. That might come because Monkey does feel like with freemium games, Monkey does like to give back to the creator when possible, if Monkey has the funds, if I really like the game, to sort of be like, thank you for making this game. So Monkey expects that at some point Monkey will probably play a little bit of the gacha using real world money. But so far that hasn't happened, so Monkey has only played the gacha to the amount that you can through the free-to-play version, which is sometimes they give you Prima Gems and whatever they call them, fates and stuff, and you can do the wishes. But Monkey actually has been kind of hesitant to do more wishes in general anyway. Because it seems like mostly what you're trying to get... What Monkey is most interested in with the gacha mechanic in Genshin is to get more characters, fun characters to play with, cute characters. But Monkey kind of wants to wait until they have one of those events where there's a higher chance that you get the character that you really like, sort of thing, I guess. And also Monkey's still not really familiar with battling and things, and so isn't sure, is this a good character to get or is that a good character to get? And then of course there's the personal preference of, oh, Monkey just likes the aesthetics of this character or this character's personality. And Monkey is very behind because Genshin has been out for a while now, so there's a lot of content that Monkey needs to get through in order to catch up. So Monkey's kind of waiting a little bit to see what characters Monkey might be interested in that might come up. But also, Monkey's been really hesitant to try to pull for characters, even using the free-to-play, the amount of pulls you can get just doing free-to-play, because Monkey is so intimidated by combat stuff that Monkey's like, wait, don't give me any new characters. I don't understand how they work. I'm still trying to learn the 5 characters that I have already. Stop giving me characters. Do I want to build them? Do I not want to build them? How does this work? Do I level them or not? What are artifacts? The Genshin system is very complicated for a monkey. For a monkey who has no idea about any of this stuff. Even the gacha mechanics confused the heck out of Monkey. And Monkey had to go get a friend to explain how gacha mechanics work. Like, what is a battle pass? Monkey had never heard of battle passes, so it was very confusing. Monkey's kind of mostly figured that out now. But, because of that, Monkey on the one hand wants more characters because more characters are fun. It's fun to have, fun to play with. On the other hand, Monkey doesn't need any more characters right now. Still trying to figure out my current characters. Yeah. So it's going. One day maybe. For ZZZ though, and the other Hoyoverse games, Monkey's kind of got curious because Monkey likes Genshin so much to see if the other Hoyoverse games might be something Monkey's interested in. because Monkey likes Genshin so much, like, oh, maybe they make things that Monkey likes. And while Monkey does like their storytelling and characters and stuff, and it's got a fun vibe, and Monkey hears that one of the games, which game was it? Is it Star Rail that supposedly has the best story and characters? Character stories? I don't remember. One of them supposedly has really good characters, and that really appeals to Monkey as an idea. However, it sounds like every game besides Genshin is not so much an open world game and tend to focus more on combat than Genshin does. So Monkey is a little concerned that even though the story might be appealing to Monkey, it still might be a mostly combat-heavy gameplay, in which case Monkey would probably not be as into it. I guess it's worth a try, just to see if Monkey falls off or not, but it didn't give Monkey a lot of hope that that Monkey would enjoy playing any of the non-Genshin games. Cause yeah, Monkey does like doing exploration. At this point, Monkey has opened up every existing nation on the map, despite still being pretty early on in the Inazuma Archon quest. That's the... For those who don't know Genshin, that's the... Genshin first opened up with the area of Mondstadt, which is supposed to be based on Germany, so it's Mondstadt, I think, in German. Mountain place, mountain something. And that area. Then the second area that you were supposed to go to, I think. No, I think Inazuma's the third area, wasn't it? Monkey doesn't know because this was all a long time ago. Yeah, no, sorry. Monkey did get through the second Archon quest in China. Liyue. That was fun. Monkey did really enjoy the China area. And then the Japan area, Inazuma, is where Monkey's kind of at now in the main story quest. But sometimes, when Monkey's not feeling like doing the main story quest, Monkey just goes off and wanders and tries to find statues to open up the map. Monkey's afraid, I'm gonna run out of places to explore soon. I still have places to explore, but I'm afraid of running out. Luckily, they're apparently gonna open a whole new area, but... excuse Monkey. Even before opening up Inazuma, the Japan area, part of the reason Monkey's so behind on that Archon quest is because to get to the Japan area, you have to finish some of the mainline quests in the China area, Liyue. And Monkey just hadn't finished those yet. And the only place on the map that you cannot... I think it's impossible to get to without doing the story quest. It may not be 100% impossible, like if Monkey was so crazy that Monkey got, like, special movement characters really early on in the game and was able to cross oceans. But I haven't tried. There's supposed to be some sort of thunderstorm in the way. Now I want to see if Monkey can do it. Monkey's gonna try and grab one of these things and do Journey Across Tevat. We'll try to walk across the ocean. But anyhow, Monkey couldn't get there And so Monki didn't go there. The third place that Monki would have gone if Monki had followed from the beginning of Genshin. And instead, found ways to wander into... I think I went to Sumeru next, which seems to be based on... Monki's guess is the Indian subcontinent, because Sumeru is a very important location in Buddhist mythology. It is the center of the world, in fact. Exists also within Monkey King mythology, as they say. So Monkey King never went to Mount Sumeru as far as Monkey understands. But because, you know, all of that is involved in the story, it is the journey to the west was the journey to India to pick up the Buddhist scriptures after all. But anyways, the naming Sumeru made Monkey assume this area is mostly based on the Indian subcontinent. Though there seem to be maybe some Middle Eastern things thrown in there as well. Monkey's not quite sure. But Monkey opened up Sumeru. And then from there, at some point, Monkey got really curious because from Upper Liyue, from Upper China, the map is so funny because everyone's in different places than in the real world. Because they're not actually, you know, China and Indian subcontinent and all of these Germany. They're just loosely, very loosely, very loosely based on these cultures. But it makes it kind of funny that you have to go from Germany to Fontaine, which I think is supposed to be France. You have to cross through China. It was... Monkey just finds that really funny somehow. When Monkey went through China and saw, I could see across the waters some bits of Fontaine. And so Monkey wondered if Monkey... How did Monkey end up doing it? I think Monkey just climbed up high enough and tried to fly over and then swam the rest of the way and hoped that Monkey wouldn't run out of stamina. Monkey's pretty sure I swam to Fontaine. I don't know if that's the normal way of doing it or not, but that's how Monkey did it. And then from there, Monkey hasn't really explored Fontaine yet. We just wanted to see if I could make it. That was also when Monkey learned that after a certain time, the MiHoYo started putting down places where you could teleport into the new areas rather than having to explore on foot to get there. And so I kind of like looked at that. But Monkey really didn't like the way that felt, popping into a place where Monkey had never been before. Didn't feel right. Monkey prefers the on-foot exploration and unlocking things that way. So, Monkey's not gonna do any more of that. But, so that's all Monkey saw of Fontaine, is crossing, like swimming over and then maybe popping into a teleportation point here or there just to see what that mechanic was like. But then, this season, this event season, I guess, the summer event season, MiHoYo had announced that it was gonna be taking place in Natlan, which is apparently based on the Americas. As far as Monkey can tell from what I've seen, seems to be based on the original human settlers of America. So presumably somewhere near the Mayans and the Aztecs and that sort of thing. A lot of their naming schemes seem to include sounds that look like Nahuatl to Monkey, but Monkey doesn't know Nahuatl, so can't say for sure. But there's lots of going on. And yeah. So because they announced that, Monkey wondered, oh, can I make it to Natlan before the event begins so that I can actually partake in the event? The answer is yes and no. Yes and no. Monkey Monkey had only gotten into the forests of Sumeru by that point, and Natlan is out to the west even further. You have to pass through the desert. So Monkey made a bit of a goal to walk across Sumeru. Monkey's own little journey to the west, I suppose, in Tevat. But instead of to Sumeru, it's across Sumeru. So Monkey walked across the jungle, mostly flew actually. Flying is the easiest way to unlock new areas, in Monkey's opinion. Gliding, I guess. Climbing up the tallest mountain you can find and gliding as far as possible towards the next unlock point. But Monkey did make it on foot / in the air, across all of Sumeru, through the desert, and out to Natlan, which you actually... Natlan, I think you also have to swim across. There might have been a boat at that point that Monkey could have used. Monkey's not sure. I don't know if I used the boat or not. I remember being on foot at some point though. So maybe I didn't take the boat all the way, or maybe I didn't take the boat at all. Don't remember. But I made it to Natlan. I was really excited about that. And then the event started. And it turned out it was on the exact opposite side of Natlan. And there was no way Monkey was crossing all of Natlan to get to this event. But the event takes place on this pretty isolated island. And so Monkey decided, okay, one last time Monkey will use... Maybe not last time, but in this case, as an exception, Monkey will use the special little teleport point that they set up. Because it's this isolated island, and the event itself is mostly isolated from the rest of the story. Monkey doesn't really want to do a lot of the stories out of order, so there's two stories, I guess, that are added in this event. One is this one on the island in Natlan, where it's like a summer resort, and you go around with other characters and you play games and stuff. Monkey was okay doing that one. Almost finished with that one now, actually. It's been a lot of fun. Really enjoyed. And that one only has some amount... It's not too much... Not too spoilerific, but it is a little weird because a lot of characters will show up and be like, "It's you! You saved Natlan!" And I'm like, I just got here. And then characters show up who are like, "We're such good friends." And I'm like, "Who are you?" Including Bennett, who Monkey by chance pulled pretty early on and had no idea who this was, but saw that everyone seemed to want him. And Monkey looked this up. Apparently, he doesn't appear in any of the like replayable, like the generally open permanent quest lines. He only appeared in event quest lines so far. Until now, I hope this one... I think this one is not just event playable. I think it's permanent, hopefully. But it's weird because you're supposed to have known him. But Genshin does this weird thing where if it was an event quest line, sometimes they're not permanent and you can never play them again. And you miss out on a large chunk of story and like meeting characters and things like that. Monkey's a little concerned about that. Maybe Monkey can look up past events and stuff to try to get filled in on what happened. Because story is a big thing for Monkey, and so not being able to play through or experience some of those stories is kind of unfortunate. Like there's a net that lets you capture animals, and Monkey has been looking forward to it since the beginning of the game. Finally unlocked the net and got really confused because when you unlock it, they're like, "Oh yeah, this is an upgrade to the one you used previously." And Monkey says, "The one I used previously?" And that's how Monkey learned that these events are sometimes not permanent. Because apparently there was an event earlier on where you got the version 1.0 of the net. And that is just not playable anymore. Monkey will not be able to play it. Maybe, hopefully, they'll be able to bring it back at some point so that Monkey can at least experience it. I don't know. But Monkey's not able to play that event, and yet the characters assume that I already have. It's kind of awkward. That sort of thing. But anyways, Monkey played through this Sunspray Summer Resort or whatever section, but then there's another... Oh! Did we disconnect? YouTube is telling me that not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. However, it seems like the stream is not completely disconnected. At a bit of a DC, but we live. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Shatter. There was a disconnect for a second. Okay. Let me see. Let me know if it is too shaky, and I'll see if I can do something about it. But for now, it seems like we might be okay. So, Monkey will continue my story/rant, and then has to catch up to chat. All is well now. Oh, good. Oh, hello, Nico. Welcome, Nico-kun. Oh, YouTube is saying stream is healthy again. Okay, we should be past the blip then, I hope. Okay. And also apologies to everyone who showed up while I was ranting about Genshin and stuff. I haven't said hi to you yet. I will get to you soon. Okay, so where was Monkey? Oh yes, so then there's the other quest line where it seems to Monkey's not sure, but it seems to Monkey that it will be a little bit more related to the actual storyline, the main storyline. And it will be available later as well. So Monkey's just holding on off on that one for now. That's the like Inefa robot prelude to Not Cry area opening thing. Monkey thinks maybe it's better to focus on where I am now and get there in order, so as not to screw up the feeling of the story as much as possible. I think that's what Monkey had to say about that. We'll see if Monkey walks to not cry. Monkey might wait and try to deal with these early areas first. Okay, let me see if I can do some catching up a little bit. Wukong game came out, and I thought of you. Oh, a new Wukong game. Is it called Wukong? But that is combat heavy. Yeah, I think I have an image in my head of the game that you're talking about, where they made Monkey King look like buff and cool or something. And Monkey shouldn't laugh, but Monkey just finds that kind of depiction really hilarious. Came from Monkey King is this tiny, scrawny, regular old-looking monkey. And this idea that he's this big, buff, tough guy is really, really funny to Monkey. It's sweet. It's sweet. And just heavy in general. Oh, heavy in general. What do you mean by that? Monkey design in Wukong. It is Wukong, but isn't good at fighting. That's a very monkey thing. Oh, you mean me? Well, how shall I put this? Monkey is a big fan of the Monkey King of Wukong, Sun Wukong, but that's a thing that Monkey has just always looked up to Wukong because of just growing up on Aolai. I mean, he's our king after all. And while combat is a big part of what makes Wukong so undefeatable, he also has a lot of other traits, and in some ways, some of his most important traits are his cleverness and his problem solving and his caring for others, and his learning, his curiosity, his innocence, his good-heartedness. All of these things are very important parts of the Sun Wukong character, even though the story itself involves a lot of having to do battles and things like that, and that he is actually quite a master of martial arts. And so in real life, Monkey as a baby monkey also kind of looked up to that portion, the sort of combative portion. Not combative per se. Monkey King's not combative either. He will engage in fights, but he's not looking to pick a fight most of the time. And so Monkey looked up to his martial prowess, and in fact has learned some martial arts, to a very amateur extent. Nothing to write home about, but to an amateur extent, Monkey learned some martial arts and enjoys performing martial arts. But turns out Monkey enjoys martial arts in the non-combative form. Monkey has no interest in sparring or fighting, just in sort of the almost the more Chinese martial arts are kind of split into two philosophies. One is the external martial arts that are about fighting well in a pragmatic, practical setting. And then the other branch is kind of often called internal martial arts, is kind of how it gets it's translated from Chinese. It's internal, and that focuses a lot on mindset and posture and mind-body connection, these kinds of things. It's what you see a lot of like Shaolin-style martial arts has a lot of connection to these internal martial arts practices. Also things like Qigong is like going even further internal. Tai Chi is another one of those where people think of it as internal but also has external practical application. It's kind of this balance in almost all Chinese martial arts between the two, in fact. But Monkey prefers sort of that internal style where you're training your mind and your body, but not necessarily for combat. And then video games, that's a whole nother beast, because that involves a completely different physical skill set. First of all, you're using your hands in a different sort of way on these controllers or keyboards or whatever learning schemes you have to learn, like learning an instrument, which Monkey was always terrible at. At least terrible at sticking to. Learning to play games is like learning to use an instrument. And then on top of that, maybe kind of like playing music, a lot of times combat has to do with timing, and you have to do things on time, and you don't have, like, especially if it's real time, you don't have time to think about it. And also just the sort of combative atmosphere, that sort of thing. Monkey just not so into it. And Monkey also hasn't had a lot of video game experience in my life. So a lot of things like combat that a lot of people who have been into video games for a long time, it just kind of comes natural to them at this point. It's almost like riding a bike. You don't think about it anymore if you already know how. But then Monkey didn't know how and had to learn. It's kind of like that. So a lot of things that are supposed to be kind of average difficulty level for the average person who has played games is difficult for Monkey. Platformers can be like that. That sort of thing. There are definitely puzzles within the Genshin universe that Monkey gets really frustrated with because they require an amount of dexterity and timing that Monkey just has not built up to yet. It's like, Monkey's like, I know how to solve this puzzle, but I've jumped off this mountain 3 times and I keep missing it. But yeah, the combat thing, and kind of Monkey in general, used to be kind of competitive as a child. That was Monkey's, tsundere phase. Monkey is still a recovering tsundere, as Monkey said early on. And back then, Monkey was a lot more combative and, what's the word? Combative, competitive, that sort of thing. But over time, Monki has realized that Monki doesn't enjoy feeling that way. It's just a lot nicer not to fight. I guess. It feels nicer. So, Monki's just not as much of a fan. Even if it's like turn-based like Pokemon, Monki doesn't really see any reason to do that versus a puzzle. Because puzzles are also more interesting. Some combat is kind of like a puzzle. Like the fake card game in Genshin. Monki can play that a little bit as a bit of a puzzle. But still, it's formulated like a combat. Like I have hit points, you have hit points, we're attacking each other. And I don't know, there's just something about that way of thinking that nowadays Monki just not very into. Boop boop boop. Where was Monki? Oops. Oh no. Oh no, Monki is really behind. Oh boy. Oh. Okay. I do that with Fallout. I don't end my run until every location is uncovered. Yes, exactly, right? It's so fun to go and find the little crevices of like, oh, there's something in here. You know, Monki hasn't thought about Fallout in years. Quite understandably, actually, I suppose. Monki has not played Fallout, but Monki wonders, is that a game Monki could play? I don't know. It's been so long. Is Fallout a combat-heavy game? I heard you can kind of sneak around. Maybe Monki can get by with minimal combat? I don't know. Because the concept of the game that I've heard and like the story and all of that has always been interesting to Monki. But Monki has always felt discouraged and thought, it's not a game Monki could play though, so Monki has never tried. And especially when it comes to games and stuff. You know, money is limited in this world. So Monki sometimes feels like, if I think I won't be able to play this game, it's not worth buying, you know? Our world was more focused on the capture and base building rather than story, Yeah, exactly. And while Monki really did enjoy discovering all the different pals and stuff like that, it was so cute. It's a big part of the adventuring in Power World for Monki, is the opening up the world and discovering all the pals. After a certain point, Monki had discovered a lot of pals. And not much else was going on. There was the base building element, which Monki found enjoyable, but not enough to be like like the central part of the gameplay. The central part of the gameplay for Monki was probably collecting pals. If Monki could have had more bases, and I understand why they limit it. It makes a lot of sense from like a game design standpoint that you should only be able to have so many bases. But Monki just wants a place to hold all of the pals and look at them because they're cute. And Monki was running out of space on that. Though Monki opened it up, I think you can make it so that you can put a maximum, you can increase the maximum number of pals in your bases. So Monki did that. But even then, it was like, it kind of started running out of things for Monki to do. Oh, speaking of Stardew, did you ever get to try Fields of Mystria? Oh, not yet. In fact, I feel like I peeked at it, and then I didn't get the chance to look at it, and then I forgot. I forgot because so many things happened. I will try to take a look at that one. It looks cute. Wow. Happy 5th anniversary. Ah! Puppetto! Sorry for the late welcome, but welcome! It's good to see you. Thank you for the happy anniversary wishes. Sequence breaking is an unofficial Zelda staple, as I've learned. Ah, see, when I told my friends that this happened to me, they were all like, "Oh yeah, that can happen." I never played a game like that before. The community prides itself on doing this out of order sometimes. Lol. Oh, I see. So somehow Monkey played into the community way of doing things without even knowing. Well, Le Monkey is back. Monkey is back. Welcome back, Mr. Cannon. Nice to see you. In Wind Waker, the bird people were the fish people. Eh? They became birds to escape the flood. I repeat, the fish had to escape the flood. Monkey is very confused. It sounds like Monkey maybe should play Wind Waker and figure out what all of that's supposed to mean. You know, the fish people in Breath of the Wild were also trying to prevent the end of the world due to flood kind of thing. Which was amusing because no one else seemed to notice that this might be a problem. None of the other nations thought that the world was gonna flood. Only the fish people thought so. And the fish people also were like, oh, well, I mean, it'd be fine for us. It's just for everyone else it would be kind of sucky. Because they were fine in the water. So it was really interesting to me how they were all end of the world, doom and gloom. And then you find out, well, but only because we care about other people. We would be fine. There's nothing wrong for us. By saying, oh, my fish is drowning. I set out to do the bird one first. Got accidentally sidetracked and ended up doing the water one first. And only. Ah, I see. That can happen. Monkey gets sidetracked a lot in open world games too, where Monkey sets a goal, I'm gonna go that way. But then, oh, what's that? Oh, what's that over there? There's so much to do. Monkey has to try to be very careful, and when Monkey unlocks a new quest, Monkey has to decide, okay, am I pursuing this now, or am I setting it aside for later? Because if you get halfway through a side quest, and then you set it aside for a really long time, and you come back, Monkey has learned. You have no idea what's going on anymore. So, Monkey has to decide, okay, I'm pursuing this or not. Even if Monkey's not pursuing it, Monkey likes to have it as an option for later. There was one point in Genshin recently where Monkey was like, okay, I'm just gonna go through and clear out all of these side quests from... most of the Liyue side quests, I think. I just cleared them all out because I had finished everything else in Liyue. But, so, that's nice. But it's, sometimes it's like... Also... Monkey saw this meme where... I think it... Maybe you guys are more familiar with this than Monkey is. I think it's, the meme is like a Star Wars prequel meme with Anakin and... What's the girl's name? Padme, I think? Where the... I think one of them... In this particular usage of the meme, they say like, oh, should be a short and simple quest, right? And then the other one looks at them silently, and they said, short and simple quest, right? And this definitely happened to Monkey here and there, where you see someone with a little quest symbol and you're like, oh, I'll go check on this quest, and you start and you're like, oh, this seems pretty simple, and then no, it's very long. Long and involved. Oh, but that can be fun too. It just, wow. Sometimes it's like, give me some warning. Now Monkey's getting sidetracked in conversation. Let's see, what were we talking about? I have the utmost faith in Nal's abilities to fight the Guardians. It turned out I didn't have to fight many of them in the end anyway. But after a certain point, I did get to the point where I was able to defeat single Guardians relatively consistently. It still felt difficult, but I was able to do it. But But I'm still very intimidated by them. There was a one item. I think it was like a DLC quest item, so not necessary for the game. I guess nothing's necessary for the game. You just go defeat Ganon whenever you want. But there was this teleportation item that Monki had my eye on from the moment I saw the quest. I was like, oh, I want this. And I finally got to the place where it was supposed to be. And I went to take a look. And it was a dungeon full of just guardians everywhere. Swarms of guardians. And Monki thought, nope. Nope. Getting out of here. Can't do this one. I don't need that item anyway. And so, Monki hightailed it out of there and thought maybe if I have the Guardian armor, I'll come back. Turns out, Monki never got the Guardian armor. It's interesting because you have to kill Guardians to get the materials to make the Guardian armor. So, Monki was kind of a little bit locked out of that for a little while. But when Monki was starting to be able to defeat Guardians regularly, was already after Monki realized Monki didn't need to defeat all the Guardians. So that goal of getting all the Guardian armor kind of went out the window. Hello! Hiki, hello! Welcome, good to see you! Time to revive this cult. No. The club, the Tianshi club. That I promised my brother I would go watch him today. I will miss No. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that the timing didn't work out for you, Hiki. But thank you for dropping by anyway. I hope you're here right now to hear me say this. I apologize if you had to drop out before I got to your message. But have a good time with your brother. Hanging out with family can be nice. Yeah, I snuck into the castle from the back. I didn't realize that was possible. In fact, I didn't sneak into the castle from the back. The castle's like on an island. And if you start from somewhere near the northern side, you could like... It's the same strategy I employ in Genshin. I must have picked it up from Breath of the Wild. You just climb up high, and you glide down, and you can get a lot of places. When did they let Monki in? Monki let herself in. She does not need permission. I suppose so. I forget, they weaken him, right? Ah, yes, the divine beasts. The more divine beasts that you unlock before facing Ganon, they attack his first form, I think. They attack his first form before you start, thereby weakening him so that you can start a little easier. So actually, if you don't defeat them, you have to defeat them before you defeat Ganon. So you're making it doubly hard on yourself because you're not getting their bonus, I think. And you also have to battle them right beforehand. Howdy, Tianshi, it's been a while. Hi, Megapox, welcome, it has been a while. I understand you were just trying to assert dominance over Ganon by facing him without the prerequisites. A power play, if you will. Oh boy, Monki was kind of in panic mode when Monki realized I was facing Ganon. I didn't even... You know, if Monki had thought about it... Monki could have just said, you know what? I wasn't planning to do this battle. I have save files. I don't think I'll lose very much if I just go back to my last save file. Monki did not think that way. Maybe because Monki is not a gamer and not used to game logic. But instead, Monki's like, well, I guess I'm here now. Let's battle till we drop. And Monki was 100% expecting to be the one to drop. Put it in my all, but expected to drop. But then it was Ganon who dropped, actually. I guess Monkey is stronger than I think. The only escape from the final boss gauntlet is victory or death. Exactly. I don't think there were many other things like that where they really lock you in, but I got locked in. I know a VTuber who just started to run around the map and ended up riding the dragon a few hours into the game. That's so good. I love the dragons. How do you ride the dragon? Monkey wanted to, but maybe Monkey tried the wrong dragon because... Yeah, because not all of them are electric dragons, huh? Only one of them, and that's the one Monkey tried to ride, which you should not try to ride if you don't have electric protection, because you will get shocked and die. You will get shocked, fall off, and then die. That is what happened to Monkey, and Monkey decided, okay, I'm not supposed to be on top of this dragon. But I had heard you can ride the dragons. So maybe Monkey's gotta go back and try that again. Because Monkey now has electric protection and also dragons that are not electric. But rain sucks IRL when you are climbing and adventuring. This is fair. This is fair. It is realistic. But since when are games realistic? If this game was realistic, Monkey would not be able to climb all those things in the first place. Fitting all of Genshin on a mobile device is pretty ambitious, I'd say. Oh yeah, that is a great point. I think it's pretty impressive. I do agree with that. In fact, one of the things Monkey likes so much about Genshin is that it's cross-platform, cross-save, and that one of those platforms is mobile. Monkey may or may not have brought this up before, but mobile is basically one of maybe Monkey's favorite platform, perhaps. Because I mean, you always have it with you, so it's very easy to just pull it out and play whenever. It's still smaller than your average size console because it's smaller. You're supposed to have it with you all the time, and therefore it's not so tiring to use. I always have it with me. I can always play the game. I don't have to be like, oh, I gotta go get my console, or I gotta go charge my console. And then PC, you have to be like sat at your PC. You gotta sit down with the keyboard and all of that. It's not quite as portable, even if you have a gaming laptop, which Monkey does not. But Monkey does like PC as well. In fact, all of the platforms Monkey's tried so far, Monkey's starting to realize they're all quite nice. But the fact that when Monkey's feeling like, okay, Monkey wants to really sit down with a nice big screen and better combat controls, because squishing all those controls into the mobile interface, it does mean there's a lot of misclicks happening. Monkey often... There are certain things... actually, not so much combat control, but precision control. So, for example, puzzles where you have to stay in a very narrow line. Genshin can be very mean about these. If you don't have good dexterity and you're using a mobile device, some of them can feel nearly impossible. For Monkey, at least. So, PC is good for precision. PC is good for certain kinds of things. Having a nice big screen, all these things. But there's actually certain things in Genshin that seem like they're even optimized for mobile. Like, Monkey hasn't tried doing the rhythm game on PC yet, but Monkey's tried it on mobile, and actually Monkey is surprised. It must be leveled in a way that it's supposed to be very accessible, because Monkey does pretty well at the Genshin minigame, the rhythm game minigame. Better than Monkey expected. Most rhythm games, maybe, again, are for people who have a lot of experience with rhythm games. which Monki does not have. So Monki's level is pretty low, but the Genshin one is doable for Monki, and in fact, oftentimes enjoyable for Monki. So that was nice. And that interface is way better on mobile, I assume. I don't know. It seems like it would be difficult to do on PC. And in fact, certain kinds of combat are actually easier on mobile, Monkey thinks, because you've got your you got all of your various kinds of attacks like right there, very easy to switch between the two, see when they're ready, not ready, that sort of thing. Whereas on PC, maybe because there are only so many keys on a keyboard, there's just like, it's kind of hard to get Monkey's fingers to go to the right place on the keyboard to do the thing that I want, and to also keep track of like, have I done this? Yeah. Is the timer over yet? It's a little difficult, more difficult to coordinate somehow. But yeah, but Monkey likes that I can switch between platforms based on which type of platform I feel like using in the moment. That's just really nice. It's cannot be overstated. And I believe they even have some console compatibility as well. Monkey hasn't tried it yet, but it might be interesting. So maybe Monkey should try hooking up a controller to PC and see how that works, because maybe I would like that control scheme. I don't know. But yeah, sometimes when Monkey has a free morning, Monkey will wake up, stay in bed, and play Genshin on my phone. It's incredible. It really is incredible that Genshin, an open world game, is on mobile. It's one of those things that Monkey cannot overstate. This is probably why Genshin's Monkey's current obsession. It's because Monkey really likes open world games, apparently. This is what Monkey has learned. Monkey really likes open world games, especially open world games with puzzles and story. I think these three things together, and of course if it's well made, which Genshin is pretty well made, Monkey likes these things. But most games that are more complicated like this are not on mobile. Most mobile games don't include genres that are more involved like this. Used to be, even though the only complex game on my phone was Stardew, it was what convinced me that I like using mobile phone as my platform, and that there need to be more complex games on mobile. Monkey's not super into the kind of simple games you usually see on mobile. The ones that expect, for example, I think they're simple because they expect you to be like on the go. Maybe you're like on the bus or something, and so you can't really get super into a complex game. You don't have that sort of time. You need your situational awareness and stuff. So a lot of these games are designed around that. So simple puzzles, short games. Monkey likes to do crosswords on mobile. That's nice. Picross, these sorts of things. They're all right, but give me the involved games as well. Stardew, Genshin, because sometimes you're not on the bus. Sometimes you're just too lazy to get out of bed and walk over to your PC. Or to your gaming console. You just want to lie in bed, veg around, so hold on to your stuffed toys and play some games. That's how Monkey feels anyway. So Monkey's really happy to see more complex games existing on mobile, and also complex games that Monkey enjoys playing. That's a big one. Monkey also needs to enjoy playing them in order to appreciate them. Wait, would it be a spoiler to reveal what the fix for the rain slipping is in TOTK, Tears of the Kingdom? I guess I can't answer that question. I guess that depends on how involved of a fix is it. If the fix has anything to do with storyline, like if the fix is tightly tightly coupled to some storyline thing, or if it is one of those things when they reveal the mechanic, the feeling of like, oh, is like really fun to have that realization, then I would consider it spoilerish. But if it's just like, oh, they kind of changed the mechanics of how things work, then maybe not too spoilerish. Monki has already seen a little bit. One of Monki's siblings was playing Tears of the Kingdom. In fact, it was because of Monki's siblings playing Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, and Monki was just watching them play, that Monki got interested in the idea of playing Zelda, because Monki's siblings were super into it too. And Monki started to think, you know, looking at this game, Monki might be able to play it actually after all. And so Monki did see some Tears of the Kingdom. But back then, Monki hadn't played any Zelda yet. And so since Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom look so similar, Monki hadn't even realized they were playing two different games. Like, one sibling was playing Breath of the Wild and the other sibling was playing Tears of the Kingdom. And Monki just thought they were playing the same game. So I have seen some of the updated, like, I know there's some updated movement mechanics and stuff that didn't exist in Breath of the Wild, though I don't really understand how they work yet because I haven't I haven't played Tears of the Kingdom. But if it's just mechanics, like the finding of it isn't part of the journey, then I think it's less of a spoiler, I guess. Maybe. Though, you know, finding things can always be fun, but that's kind of on the border. Well, I'm number 3 now. Oh, Satyr, actually, you're number 2 now. Oh, it's actually... So, this leaderboard thing, this top fans leaderboard thing is pretty new, huh? Monki has not been... Monki has not been watching streams and stuff for a while, so I hadn't seen it until today. That this thing, I don't 100% understand how it works, but it looks like the crown thing. It saves the history of what crown you were at when you made that comment. So your previous comment was 3, but the comment of, whoa, I'm number 3 now, is number 2. Monkey, good to see you. How are you doing? Oh no, Monkey ended in Gacha Hell. We'll see. Hopefully, Monkey doesn't get too pulled into the gacha mechanic. Monkey tends to be pretty good about not gambling. Just because I think Monkey was warned against gambling enough as a baby monkey that there's very little... Monkey's always very wary of it. There's very little desire to do the risk-reward thing. Monkey's not a very risky monkey to begin with. And so, Monkey thinks, hopefully Monkey won't get pulled in, but you never know. The gacha mechanic is specifically designed to pull you in and make you go, okay, but just one more. So we'll see, but hopefully Monkey will be okay. At least she is not playing League of Legends. Could have been worse. Oh? Wait, League of Legends is not a gacha game, is it? I didn't think so, but... Monkey, good to see you. Good to see you, Nico-kun. How have you been? I like to play Genshin to explore. When they made things locked behind story, it annoyed me. I couldn't play at my pace, I just had to rush story. I know what you mean, Ehiki. I feel kind of similarly, but I think luckily, so most of the stuff that was locked behind story was early on, and it sounds like the later content, more and more, they're trying not to lock it behind story. And in fact, that's why they have these like new quick start mechanics where you can even start the quests for later storylines without having done the early storylines. But actually, Monkey doesn't want to do that either. But a lot of the things that Monkey feels like feel a little bit less polished and stuff, it might be because because Monki's only playing through the early game right now, like the fact that Inazuma was locked away behind story quest, and I really wanted to get there because I could tell I had either looked up or I had heard that certain mechanics that I wanted, including the net to catch the little animals. I wanted the animals. My main reason for wanting to go to Inazuma was because I wanted to catch animals. I wasn't able to get that net until I could go to Inazuma, and I couldn't get to Inazuma until I finished all of the mainline quests and then started the Inazuma quest. So that was frustrating for sure, because I couldn't get the little animals. I kept seeing them and saying, I want it, but I can't. But I think most of those main mechanics are unlocked for me at this point. So I don't think anything else big is locked behind story for me. I think. I wouldn't know, I suppose. But I've got fishing, I can catch animals, I have the teapot thing, which was so confusing to me when I kept hearing people say teapot, teapot, and there's like a part of your inventory that says teapot, and I'm like, what do you mean teapot? What do you mean? I really wanted to know, because obviously, you know, being of the Tianshi tea club, it seemed highly relevant. I got the teapot, that's all good. And so I think I have most of the main things that need unlocking. That need story to unlock, at least. Yeah. And yeah, I don't like to rush story because I enjoy the story. So I like to play that at my own pace too. So that's I also found a little frustrating. But I think they're learning over time to do things better, to make quality of life slightly better around these things. Heart. Oh, thank you, Key Energy. It's a pass that people battle over. What is a pass? And there's no... I could not figure out even what that had to do with, like, the battle pass in Genshin. I still don't 100% understand it, because it doesn't have anything to do with battling, actually. Like, you earn points for mining, for logging in, for doing quests, for exploring, whatever. I don't even know. I guess there are some of the points you can earn for battling, but it doesn't make sense, and it's not. Because it's called a battle pass. It's like, what is it a pass for? Like, does it get you into something? Like a press pass? What is a pass? And like, why are there two kinds of things you can pay for? And is it a subscription or not a subscription? And why would I even want these things? It was all very confusing. And I was like, I think this is the subscription service, but then I learned there's actually a different subscription service, which isn't even a subscription service. I don't think Genshin has maybe a subscription service. Maybe it's a China thing where they don't want to, like, deal with if they charge your card and you didn't want them to, sort of thing. So I think it's like you buy the pass ahead of time, and then you have to just keep buying it every month rather than having it auto-renew. Which actually Monki kind of prefers. I think that's kind of nice, honestly. But apparently that was this other thing, which they call something Welkin Moon something. I don't even know. Sometimes Monki has a lot to say about the English localization of Genshin. They make things very confusing sometimes, and I understand somewhat where they're coming from. Trying to give it sort of this fantasy, esoteric vibe. And maybe it's because Monki's not super familiar with these kinds of games. Maybe some of these terms that they use in the localization are more well-known to people who have been playing these kinds of RPGs and stuff. But what is a Welkin? Monki sometimes, in order to remember or understand what things are, Monki looks up the name in Chinese. Like, what is this thing called originally? And that's so much more straightforward. Monki plays Genshin with Chinese audio and English text. Because Monkey's not fluent in Chinese, but appreciates the original audio, the original vision of the characters and stuff, as well as Monkey can understand enough occasionally to hear the audio and say, wait, that's something completely different from what they say in the English localization. So having a little bit of an insight into not just the original portrayals of these characters in terms of voicing, but also in terms of their actual lines has been a very helpful and interesting thing for Monkey. Like, the word vision for your power was always very confusing to Monkey, because I feel like in English that doesn't even make a lot of sense. Your vision is actually... Vision sounds very... What's the word? Abstract? Like conceptual? But they're actually talking about a physical object, and they're calling it a vision. In Chinese, they call it 神之眼, which means... Sun are very much... They're kind of similar to Kami in that... like, you would translate it as God, but it's not very similar to Western gods. Maybe closer to... Well, not very similar to Abrahamic gods, let's say. But maybe more similar to, like, Greek gods, which I think Greek still counts as Western. But, like, more similar to gods you find anywhere outside of Abrahamic religion, to be honest. But with a special flavor, because just like Kami have their own Japanese special flavor and meaning to them, Sun in Chinese embodies not just gods, but spirit in general. Like all creatures with a soul. So humans, monkeys. We also have Sun. And Sun is sort of the reasoning, rational mind, as well as the soul and the spirit. And unlike how in English that implies you have one soul, one spirit, in Chinese tradition, depending on the era of history and who you ask, because this was a huge area of study in China for its entire history, some people might say, oh, well, you know, the human has 3 sun and 5 po, and these are different elements of the human soul, basically. The human soul, the body, the mind-body connection. There's a whole lot of... China is very academic, and there's lots of academic inquiry into this whole phenomenon. So there's a lot culturally that shen means, which is why it's so hard to translate some of these things from Chinese to English. I do not envy the localization team, but their choice to use the word vision confused me. Shen Ziyan, I only explained the first character there, and I can see now why they had to choose something like vision, because there's so much to explain. But a more direct translation would be the eye of God, or the eyes of God. There's no plural or singular in Chinese, so it could mean the eye of God, the eyes of God, the eye of gods, the eyes of gods, any of those, you know? But it's it's God, possessive eye, as in your physical, like, eyes that you look at things with. And then you start to notice, like, oh, this is a theme that recurs throughout the entire game. Vision has that, in a way, but it's more abstract. But then you have the animoculus and the geoculus and that kind of thing, which confused Monkey. Again, this choice to use things like animal for wind, in Chinese it's just wind. Feng, it's just feng. And so animoculus in Chinese is just wind eye. You know, eye of wind or whatever. Very clear to a Chinese audience playing the game what that's supposed to be. But to a monkey playing the game in English, I was like, what is an animoculus? And how do I even spell that? What is that supposed to mean? So this esotericism kind of confused Monkey a bit. But, you know, localization, like I said, is hard. And if you said something like, for example, for vision, like if you called it in English the eye of God, that would have way more implications than intended. Just because English-speaking cultures these days are so affected by Abrahamic religions and especially Christian religion that the image of what that means is going to be very different than using the Chinese one. But it was, I don't know, it's complicated. I don't remember how I got on this topic. But Monki could say quite a lot about the English localization of Genshin. Monki did also try to play a little bit of it in the English voice because Monki was curious, but Chinese voice, superior choice. Highly recommend. Highly recommend to anyone interested in playing something, playing in a voice that's not English. Chinese voice, very good. Okay, let me get back on track a little bit. Monkey was talking about battle passes? How did Monkey end up on this? Oh, because of Welkin. What is a Welkin? The only way to win gacha is not to play as a past gacha fiend. Oh, good advice, good advice. Honkai Impact was my favorite. Oh! Then they added a new game mode. Was worth 20 GB and I had to uninstall. Oh no! Oh no! Is there a way to... Is there a way to maybe download a smaller version of it? I know that with Genshin, recently it sounds like they've been trying to do that sort of thing, data management stuff, especially because cell phones can be so limited, right? And it does need to run on the cell phone. I noticed they have special settings for like unloading quests that you've already done or downloading things in slightly lower quality because you don't need HD on your phone. Or at least Monkey doesn't need HD on my phone. It's so small. That sort of thing, but that's really unfortunate. Honkai Impact. Honkai Impact. I'm trying to remember what I heard about that one. I know it's one of their earlier ones. I like ZZZ a lot. It's super bouncy and cartoony. Oh! And I adore the characters. But it is decidedly the most action-focused of the Hoyoverse games I played. Makes sense, makes sense. There was a time where Monkey was playing a game that was considered an action RPG. Monkey doesn't remember the name of it anymore. It was a Korean game, I think. It was called an action RPG, and so it must have been very action-based. Monkey never really got good at it. Monkey was just playing because friends played. And so Monkey just, you know, spam the attack button until you make it through kind of thing. So depending on the action RPG or in the action-focused game, sometimes Monkey can do it if they have like... if they make it accessible to people who have no idea what they're doing. But if that's the majority of the gameplay, Monkey might also just kind of get tired of it at some point. I'm not sure. Sometimes games like that, Monkey would much rather watch someone else play, so Monkey doesn't have to deal with the stress of doing the actual action and can just sit back and watch. The game that comes to Monkey's mind whenever I think about this, like the top tier, oh, that's a fun game to watch. It was Last of Us. Monkey really enjoyed watching Last of Us, would never, ever, ever want to play Last of Us. But watching, you get to follow along the story, it's very cinematic. And then the actual gameplay is fun to watch, even if you're not playing it, because there's a lot of sneaking around and stuff. Monkey actually has a hard time following action in media. When I'm watching a movie or an anime or something, my brain just doesn't lock onto it. Maybe it's not interested, maybe it doesn't get how it all is supposed to work. My brain doesn't get into the hype of it. But Last of Us had a lot of like... The fighting is almost like a last resort thing, so it was very fun to watch for Monkey. Monkey streaming? What year is it? Welcome, Barry. Welcome, welcome. It is the year 2025. 5 years since Monkey started streaming. Crazy. Zhongli is still one of my favorites in Genshin, but I no longer play. I like Zhongli a lot too. I think on Reddit, was it Shatter who asked me who my favorite characters were? At that point, you know, I was still pretty early on. But I think I had just finished up. I mean, I'm still pretty early on, I guess. But I think I had just finished up the mainline Li Yue arcs. And so that's I think I might have, did I list Zhongli in the in that list of characters that I like? Yeah, definitely still fresh in my mind. But so far, both of the Archons who I have met, from Mondstadt and also from Li Yue, they have both had such compelling characters that I like so much that I have my fingers crossed about Inazuma, because so far Inazuma's Archon makes me go, I don't think any of this is good. This person seems like a scary person who I want nothing to do with. So I'm hoping that in the mainline story quest, it redeems her somehow? Maybe? That's my guess, because Genshin seems like the type of game... from what I've played through so far, they give off the feeling that they don't believe in this concept of, like, good people, evil people. Even the, like, monsters and stuff, when I look at what they've said so far about them, even just in Mondstadt alone, the first area alone, I had this very strong feeling of, they don't like us? Well, of course they don't like us. We're kind of really terrible to them. We go and we raid their camps for no good reason. We don't understand their language, but we don't try to communicate. We know they're intelligent, they communicate, they build stuff, but we just kind of are terrible to them anyway. And then we wonder why they're terrible to us. It's like, I attacked them because they attacked me first. And it's like, yeah, but sometimes you attacked first. Plus, you look like the ones that other people, like other humans, probably attacked them first too. So, I really get the feeling that, I don't know if this is true in the Hoyoverse in general, but the storytelling in Genshin doesn't mean to imply that anyone is truly, like, evil, malicious, has bad intentions. There are people who are maybe kind of selfish and things like that, but no true evil. And so that's why I feel like, even though the situation in Inazuma right now is pretty bad, I'm hoping they'll try to bring it around. I don't know if I can really forgive. I don't know if I can forgive her for what she's done. What she's done is still pretty bad. But maybe they can still make her into a character who feels like she's still trying to be a good person at heart, you know? But yeah, Zhongli is like, from the moment you meet him, actually. So at first I'm always a little bit dubious about new characters, especially because the designs always make them out to be like, oh, I'm so cool. And I'm like, oh yeah, sure, okay. But Zhongli is just really fun and pleasant, and I don't know. He seems really nice. If they ever put him up for gacha again, well, they probably will, I think. If they put him up for gacha, and what's his name? The animal Archon. They say Archon, really, also. They choose the word Archon, but in Chinese they often just use the word sun again. That kind of god word. In fact, that reminds me. One of the things that really did not hit in the localization that made me a little bit sad, and also made me realize how confusing the title of the game is the title of the game. The title of the game actually gets a name drop when you finish up the first, like, main arc. The first main arc of the story, the title gets name dropped. But that name drop doesn't land in English because they replace the title of the game with the word... I don't even remember the word because they use such a strange word. And then they like never say it again. What do they call? But in the thing, what is it called? Maybe I can look it up. Genshin. They call. Oh, it's the word they used for people who own visions. People with vision. Archon. Visions. Distributing visions. What did they call it? Oh, I know. I can look up Genshin Dictionary. Genshin Dictionary. There's a good old Genshin Dictionary. It doesn't have everything in it, but it is helpful. Let's look up this and see if this will work. Allogene. I don't know how you pronounce that in English. Monki is supposed to be a native English speaker, but what is an allogene? Well, it's not English, first of all. Well, not really. They call it an allogene, a person who holds a vision. But allogene, A-L-L-O-G-E-N-E, is this other thing. And I can see also, you know, they're pulling from... Genshin does pull from sort of esoteric other cultures' stuff. And I think this is one that's pulled from one of the cultures that Genshin does pull from. Kind of? Maybe? I don't know. But in Chinese, Venti, who I like to call Wendy because in Chinese his name is Wendy. And so every time I'm like, it's Wendy. It's very cute. This sounds very cute to me in Chinese. So when Wendy tells you in this like epic scene, it's like, yes, those who hold visions or those who hold Shenjiyan are called halogenes. Like, no, they're called Genshin. And in fact, Genshin is a really awkward thing because Genshin is the Japanese pronunciation of the characters, whereas it's a Chinese game, which means that they should technically have been pronounced Yuanshen. So the fact that it's romanized using the Japanese scheme is a little funny. But it might have something to do with the fact that Hoyoverse is a whole bunch of otaku, and of course they want it to... They like the Japanese pronunciation of it, and they think that's cool. And they want to attract other people who are into anime and like the Japanese pronunciation. But still kind of a strange thing that the English name of the game is the Japanese pronunciation, plus the word impact for no clear reason. People think that maybe it was localized that way to tie it to Honkai Impact so that people know that this is kind of the same studio, coming from the same studio. So yeah, localization problems. It's a tough field. It is probably true that Genshin Impact got a lot more eyes on it because it was named Genshin Impact than if they had named it something like Yuanshen, which people would be like, how do you even say that? Or if they had translated the name to primordial god, or original god, or however you translate Yuan, which is kind of actually difficult. And Shen, like I mentioned, is also difficult to translate, so I understand. But also, it meant that that name drop just did not drop in English at all. Like, I heard him say it. Actually, I didn't hear him say it at first because I was just reading the English text and I was like, what in the world is an allergen? And then I had to look it up, and then I realized, and I listened to the audio again, and I was like, oh, that was supposed to be a name drop. Maybe I heard it at first. I don't remember anymore. It was a while ago. I either heard it first and then looked it up, or the other way around. Either way, either way, it's a very, very. It's like one of those things like manga readers of Freedom. There's a moment where there's like, oh, name drop, so no Freedom, but in the anime, again, really tough call for the localization, but the title was changed from Soul no Frieren, because Soul no Frieren is extremely hard to translate Soul into English. So they changed it to Frieren Beyond Journey's End. And so now there's this meme floating around, I think because of the manga readers, where it's like, and that's why she's called Frieren Beyond Journey's End. Because that's when the name drop was supposed to happen. That's why she's called Soul no Frieren. And you're like, oh, but no. And there's so much meaning to that name drop. Same thing with Genshin. I feel like there's so much meaning to that name drop, but just you can't do it. Sometimes crossing cultures is really hard, and this is why Monki wants to learn all the languages so Monki can consume all the media in its original language. Sometimes it's actually more fun if you can do that and see the localizations though, because then you can see these fundamental incompatibilities that make it really, really hard. This is why Monki used to, back in the day, always read the versions of manga or watch the versions of anime where they're like translator's notes, and then there's like a whole page. It's like pause to read. Monki was really into that sort of thing. You might explore the entire map, but not checked everything. Such as you went to an area but never did a puzzle in there, or a side quest. Yeah! No, that's a big thing that Monki really wishes Genshin had, but again, with the ambition of what Genshin is, Monki totally understands why it doesn't. In fact, this is not even a common feature in general and shows off the ambition of Breath of the Wild in Monki's opinion. At least I don't think it's a common thing. In Breath of the Wild, they literally draw your path, your entire path, all of the places you've literally physically been in the world, for the entire game. And that, at first Monki was like, why would I need this? This seems okay, that's kind of cute, I guess. But I don't need this. But then it became one of the things Monki referenced the most often. To say, did I go this way already? Did I find all the things here? Oh, I haven't explored that place yet. And it was so valuable, where Monki could be like, oh, I've been on this mountain, but I haven't seen the northwest corner of this mountain yet. Let's go over there, or haven't gone down this cliff yet. And it's so helpful if you like adventuring and seeing everything. Because, like you said, you might miss a puzzle if you don't realize that one little square you've never been in. You went everywhere else, but not that one little square. And I'd love to have that for Genshin, because Genshin does have so many little chests and things hidden everywhere. In some ways, it'd be nice to, like... I know they have the interactive map, and maybe someday Monki will try to do that, but I don't think the interactive map is dynamic. Like, if you opened a chest and you say, show me all the chests, it might still show you that chest, is my guess. I haven't done it yet, because Monki likes to explore blind first, at least. But yeah, because Monki doesn't want to miss anything. Give me all the chests. Journey to the... Would that be technically west? The year and Inazuma is west, so it counts. Well, it's true! It's true! As far as I can tell, everything in Genshin so far, from your starting point in Mondstadt, is to the west. I think Inozuma's kind of to the south, but I think it might be to the southwest. So yes, Monki's been doing a bit of a journey to the west. Everything seems to be gradually growing more and more to the west. I really want to do the opposite though. Now that this new area opened up and they added this character that is so good for movement mechanics. That's also another thing that I've noticed has evolved over time. I feel like where I'm at right now, the movement mechanics aren't great, but I can see that in the later areas they continually improve. And I want to get the little Asha. The little Asha, they're so cute! Their movement is so convenient. But they're only in this one little island. And I want to know if I can take the Asha and take them out of this island and walk them all the way from the westernmost point of the map all the way back to Mondstadt in the east. Or maybe down to Inazuma across the water, because they can go infinitely across water as far as I can tell. Hopefully. We'll see. I might do an experiment at some point. It might take several days. The problem is I'm not sure. I think if you log out, your Asha might disappear. So I might have to do it all in one session, which might take a very long time to do on foot. Especially, yeah. Not convinced. It's possible, but I'm curious, and so I might give it a try. Swimming to an entirely new area is strong spirit energy. Well, I can't believe it's not Savior of Natlan. I'm like, wait, what? They're like, oh, you know, you stopped the war or whatever. I'm like, there's a war going on? I've just barely crossed into Natlan from Sumeru, and so everything seems really peaceful so far. There's like some nice people and there's dinosaurs. I call them dinosaurs, but I'm not sure if they're supposed to be dinosaurs. To me, they look like dinosaurs. And someone told me that there's actually seems to, at some point, a trope started and has continued for no clear reason, where the original peoples of the Americas, especially like the Mayans and the Incas and the highly technological people of the Americas, somehow often have dinosaurs for some reason. I did not know this, but apparently it's in Warhammer very prominently, for example, and maybe some other places as well. But they're very cute, the dinosaurs. I think I call them dinosaurs because in English, they translate them to something or other saurians. Saurians? As in dinosaurs-ians? But in Chinese, they call them dragons. But in Chinese, dinosaurs are also called dragons. So I'm not sure whether the implication is that they're dragons or dinosaurs or both, because they're kind of both, I guess. Something like that. That's what I think. The Chinese names for the dragons, the saurians, is also a lot more straightforward than the English names. Like, I can never remember the names of the dinosaurs in English, because it's something or other saur. Colosaur? Colosaur is one that I recently tried to memorize. In Chinese, it's just like the swimming dinosaur or the swimming dragon. That's just the name, it's a swimming dragon. It's like, oh, the one that swims, that makes sense. Oh, things like that. Oh, there was another one that was like really hard for Monki to remember in English, but in Chinese made a lot of sense. Oh, things like the names of places sometimes, like Snezhnaya? Snezhnaya? I don't know any Russian, so I don't know how that's supposed to be pronounced, but apparently it's based on Russian. Doesn't 100% make sense in Russian, because it means like snowy as an adjective, and so you would be like, snowy what? What do you... snowy and then what? In English, you can at least call something snowy, I guess. But I don't think you would call a whole nation... Oh, it's the nation of snowy. Snowy what? Is what I've heard. But I had to look that up because every time I heard it in Chinese, I was like, it's just the winter country. It's just the cold winter country or whatever. That's what they call it. It's the cold winter country. They're always bundled up. They come from the cold winter country. And the fatui? I don't know how you say it in English because since I'm playing in Chinese audio, however they expect you to pronounce all of these words in English, I have no idea. I'm just making it up based on what I read. But the fatui or whatever, I think that's supposed to come from Romance languages. But I don't know Romance languages, so I didn't know what that was supposed to mean. In Chinese, I also didn't know what it was supposed to mean, but I looked it up. They call them the Yurenzong. Yurenzong. Kind of hard to say. Now that I try to say it aloud. But it just means like it kind of just means the organization of stupid people. As far as Monki can tell, it just means like those kind of like bumbling idiots. And that's what they call their organization. My guess is maybe it's supposed to be sort of a reference to sort of Team Rocket style villains, you know? They're like these highly organized crime people, but also they don't seem to be highly competent. They're like problematic, but not necessarily competent. But these sorts of things kind of... Monkey's glad that I can lean on the Chinese sometimes to be like, oh, I was supposed to know what that means. People playing in Chinese might have understood this differently than me trying to understand the choices in the English localization. Excuse me. Oh yeah, that was a tangent. Okay, oh, and this is when the disconnect kind of happened. Everything's fine, hopefully. I showed up in the Zelda rant. Oh! Hey, Hiki, I'm glad it sounds like you were able to be here when I actually said hi to you. That's my guess as to what your comment here is referring to. Oh, hearts, thank you, Nico-kun. Genshin is very rantable, no worries. Yeah, Monkey's been playing so much of it. Monkey has so many thoughts and opinions, and it's very fun. It is the nature of gacha games to necessitate tangents, Lamar. Is that so? I could rant forever about Uma Musume now. I hear Uma Musume has reached, like, it's having a bit of a... Renaissance is not quite the right word because it's not like it used to be huge, but like a comeuppance? Is that what that is? Like apparently it's gotten extremely popular. Monkey doesn't know much about... I mean, Monkey knows about Uma Musume, but Monkey has never played Uma Musume. Monkey has never watched anyone play Uma Musume, nor watched any of the anime or other related media. So... Monkey doesn't know much to say about the game itself, but it is interesting that it seems to be very popular right now. Monkey hadn't considered whether or not Monkey might be interested. Gacha games was another one of those categories of games that Monkey had more or less written off completely, because Monkey knows I don't really like gambling, and that kind of game type of thing does not appeal to Monkey. So I just assumed all gacha games were built strongly around the gacha mechanic, and that if you didn't play into the gacha mechanic, there wouldn't be much else to do. There wouldn't be much content or interesting gameplay. Genshin feels really different to me. After Monkey started playing Genshin, Monkey almost forgot it was a gacha game, actually. Because there's so much content outside of the gacha mechanic You don't need to even touch the gacha mechanic. Even free-to-play, when they give you the pulls and stuff, you don't even need to touch it, as far as Monki can tell, to enjoy the game and do well in the game. It's not a pay-to-play, like fake free-to-play kind of freemium game. You really can, at least from Monki's perspective, just play the game and not even look at the gacha. Not even touch it once. And that Monki wasn't expecting. And it's one of the things that Monki actually really loves about Genshin is that you're not locked into the gacha if you don't want to. The gacha is, you know, nice, but you're not... It doesn't feel, at least at this point where Monki is, like you're forced to do the gacha in order to be able to play the game comfortably. Are you saying Monkey King is not cool? Disrespecting him like that? No. Monkey King is very cool. Monkey King is still one of my heroes. But he's not... He's not like a buff, tough guy. He's not big and intimidating and hyper masculine. He doesn't have to be. He's cool the way he is already, you know? He's just a monkey. He's just a monkey who happens to be really smart, really well trained, have a really lucky destiny in a way. He had really lucky destiny. And all these other things. Like, he doesn't win his battles because he's big and buff and like hyper masculine. He wins his battles because he's clever and he's a good martial artist. And he has some superpowers, you know. That always helps. But the people around him also have superpowers. So that doesn't necessarily give him too much of a leg up. He still needs to use... A lot of it is based on using his wits and his martial arts training. Not because he's big and bulky. And I think that's really cool about him, actually. He's just some small monkey. He's just some monkey, you know? And that's why it's funny to me, this idea that people see him, because he's this great warrior hero, they see him and they're like, oh, we gotta make him this like big prototypical, archetypical warrior style. And it's just kind of silly to Monkey. It's not inherently a problem. I mean, show Monkey King however you want to show Monkey King. It's kind of always fun to be creative, right? But it's just such a mismatch from his actual physicality to how he's being portrayed physically. And kind of stoic looking too. I don't know if it's true or not, but the splashes Monkey has seen, he looks super stoic, and it's just that dissonance that Monkey finds so funny. Monkey King is in no way stoic. He's very silly. Oh. Dragon Ball taught me never to diss monkeys. You know, Dragon Ball, especially the original Dragon Ball, where Goku is just this little kid, I feel like that really gets to the essence of Monkey King quite a lot, as opposed to like the big buff versions of Monkey King. And I guess Goku, I never watched any Dragon Ball, so I don't fully understand, but it looks like he becomes a big buff guy eventually too. Not true of Monkey King. Maybe this is where people get that impression from, but original Goku, baby Goku, is a lot more like Monkey King, especially the Monkey King, baby Monkey King, when he was, you know, very innocent. You say he's clever, yet we all know the story of him and Buddha, JK. Well, see, that's the problem. He was clever, and he knew he was clever, and therefore he put a lot of trust in his own cleverness, to the point where he overestimated... rather than overestimating himself, actually, it's more like he underestimated Buddha. He was so confident in himself that he didn't recognize just how powerful Buddha was. Wukong seems... Oops. Sometimes when I scroll, it always jumps and then I lose my place. Here we are. Wukong seems akin to a classical Guile hero. Guile hero. That makes some sense, even though I don't know what you're talking about. I assume if the archetype is called a Guile hero, it's a hero who's kind of clever and tricksy. Kind of like a Loki, I guess. He's more likely to trick and think his way through a problem, if I remember right. If possible, he will always take the don't fight way of doing things. And that is kind of a very classic Chinese legendary war hero thing. It even shows up in Sun Tzu, The Art of War. This idea that a great warrior, someone who actually knows what they're doing when it comes to war and strategy, knows that the first line of defense is not fighting. The best battle to win is the one where you don't actually have to come to blows, right? And so I think, as far as Monki has seen, this value of cleverness and being able to solve problems, even if it involves trickery, without having to actually engage in combat, is highly valued in a lot of Chinese legendary stories and literature. And Monkey King is very much this way. His defining characteristic is not so much his battle prowess, even though he is extremely skilled battle-wise, and basically very few people can match up against him, even just on battle alone. But what's truly at the core of who he is that sort of clever, intelligent, tricky mindset. And this actually comes out a lot if you look at the symbolism behind him being a monkey to begin with, in a way. In that, if you look at the 12 zodiac animals, the Chinese zodiac animals, they each have their own sort of archetypical strengths and weaknesses. And monkeys, one of their archetypical strengths, and whether this comes from an interpretation of Monkey King or not, I don't know, because I don't know how old the Monkey King story is or these archetypes are. But monkeys are often, quite understandably, considered to have strengths in terms of being clever and sometimes a bit tricky. And that's, I think, maybe because from a human perspective, monkeys do come off as very clever because we can communicate with humans. We act and communicate in similar ways that humans act and communicate in. And so it's very clear to humans the level of intelligence that monkeys have if you live closely with them. As opposed to animals that are a little more foreign to humans, like octopi and dolphins, where humans have a little bit of a harder time recognizing the cleverness. Monkeys are considered very clever. Rats also very clever and tricksy. But yeah, so Monkey King definitely tries to talk his way out, think his way out, trick his way out of problems, rather than fight if he doesn't have to. For me, I find complicated games deal with reflexes or flashing lights. Monkey, I don't think I've had too much trouble with flashing lights. At least I haven't consciously noticed that. But reflexes, that is a tough one. Watching old monkey VODs be like, did Monkey used to call others baka? I don't think so. Have I? Congrats. Oh, thank you, Willow Meow. Welcome. Can't stay for long since I have chores to do. Oh, hope you have a nice stream. Well, thank you for dropping by. I hope you were able to stick around long enough for me to say hi to you. But if not, I apologize. But thank you so much for dropping by. I do appreciate it. You can play New Vegas completely pacifist if you want. Really? It's completely up to you. There are always alternative ways to complete an objective. Ah, you know, that sounds a little familiar. I might have heard of that before. Which is really funny because it doesn't seem like the kind of game... It doesn't seem like the kind of game that you would expect that from necessarily, but... Maybe Monki should give it a try. Monki has always been interested in the Fallout universe storytelling. The Fallout storytelling, basically. Because... in fact, kind of independently, as a baby monkey, before learning about Fallout, Monki had even had some kind of similar ideas in terms of like, oh, what if there was a world like this? Sort of thing. And so, seeing it happen in an actual game piqued Monki's interest. And it sounds like it was done really well. Fallout New Vegas is very accessible to non-combat. There's almost always a way to talk your way out of fights, and sometimes you'll get even more rewards. Oh! Alright, Monki's starting to get convinced. Maybe Monki can play Fallout. Went to get Chinese food and cake for today. Ooh, sounds tasty. Nah, the fish people were worried if everything was flooded, then they'd have to fight for parking spaces and rent going up. I don't know about that, Eduardo. Nothing is necessary in Breath of the Wild. Go defeat Ganon with nothing but this stick you found and a dream. That actually, that some people, like speedrunners, apparently there's a speedrunning strategy where you just try to get to Ganon as quickly as possible. And you could just fight him with a stick, I guess. The bed is optimal place to play handheld consoles. Yes, agreed. Agreed. Mobile gaming brought me back into gaming in general, but on a Steam Deck, not my phone. Ah, that makes sense. Steam Deck is really nice. Monki has not used one, but some of Monki's family has Steam Deck, and it does seem really nice because of... It's that same thing of... All the really complex games are, you know, for PC mostly. But it is nice to be able to have that portability to be able to move around, be mobile, take it with you. Though the Steam Deck does seem very heavy. But you know, maybe that's an okay trade-off. Playing mobiles like AFK Farm or Gacha, but been more on PC than console. Was playing Black Myth Wukong for a bit as I was waiting for it to release for years. Yeah, come to think of it, I felt like I had heard about it years and years ago. So when I heard that it released, I got so confused. I was like, a sequel? A different game? This is the same game? It hadn't released yet? But with work, I'm always tired now. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. That's a mood. I'm sorry. I hope things get a little bit easier. I blame Dokkan Battle for my gacha addiction, lol. I've not heard of Dokkan Battle. League of Legends has, in fact, added gacha elements. I am baffled, Mama. Well, I guess... in this current age, it seems like everything has to push really hard to monetize as much as possible. And gacha is a pretty easy way to do it. It's easy and it does pull people in. Monki's not a huge fan of it because in the end, it's basically gambling. But yeah. It is what it is, and they've put in regulations that try to make it better, and it can be fun. Just like gambling can be fun. It always feels a little predatory, I guess. That's the thing that Monki worries about sometimes. If something is fun, but also can be predatory, is there a way we can have both? Is there a way we can have the fun but not be predatory? Monkey doesn't know. But yeah, I can see why, if it's a monetization model that's working, why you would do it. Because previously, League of Legends was just kind of monetized based on hats, right? And that's kind of one of Monkey's preferred ways of doing it, is monetized only on things that aren't like gameplay related, won't give you like a leg up or anything. Just something enjoyable to make so that when you look at it, you're like, yeah, that's mine. I like that, you know? But yeah, I don't know. It's tough. Monkey doesn't understand economics. Back where Monkey grew up on Flower Fruit Mountain, Hogwarts-san, there was no economics to be worried about, so Monkey doesn't really understand anything about money, except that here in the human realms, it seems to be very important. Oh. What's this? Quit League when Samura came out. Riot just kept making the game harder to enjoy with item changes, rune changes, and champions with overloaded kits. Oh. I think the term Battle Pass came from Fortnite. Oh, I can see that. Fortnite is a shooter game, right? I'm trying to remember the name of it, but basically made it so you don't take actual damage and a slow bleed over time, so you can just heal past the damage you take, because instead of taking 100 points, you take like 15 points over the course of a few seconds and just heal the damage being dealt. I see. Monkey doesn't fully understand. Monkey doesn't fully understand, but I see. Had to walk away from stream, ended up away for 20 minutes. Now I'm as far behind Monkey as Monkey is. Oh no! Welcome to the past, Hemoglobin. The future? The past? I don't know. Add Hemoglobin. Don't worry, I went, got Chinese food, ate it, washed my dishes, and Monkey has not reached my last cup. You missed a bunch of rants. It's true. Some ranting happened. Oh. Realize now I never actually said it. Happy anniversary and all. Oh. Yippee. Thank you, Shatter. Thank you, thank you. So you're saying the title drop loses its impact? You know what? It literally does, because the title drop does not contain the word impact. In any language. What are we, some kind of Genshin Impact? That's right. You get to play as a Genshin Impact. In fact, other thing I find interesting is this allogene thing. Allogene. I think it's supposed to be for people who have visions. So technically, even though this name drop, the way it was worded was a little confusing. It seemed to imply that we, the traveler, were also allogenes. I think, in fact, we are not, because we don't have the Shenjiyan. We don't have the visions. So like everyone else is allogenes. We're just weird. We're just weird is all. OG, original god impact. Would sound kind of cool. Yeah. It would sound cool. I think it is a little hard to translate, because I can see why it often gets translated as like original god or primordial god. But I think the implication, based on just as much of the lore as I currently understand, is that so that you don't have to go off of just like Monkey's bad memory. Yuan, according to this dictionary that Monkey likes to use, MDBG, Yuan can mean things like former, original, primary, raw, source, these kinds of things. And so I think the names, the English direct translations that would probably sound the coolest are probably original god and primordial god. But it's almost more of a sense of like those things, both original and primordial in English, give off this impression of being from the past. Like a primordial god is a really old god, an original god is one of the first gods. But it's more like, to Monki, the sense of like, in Genshin, you meet all sorts of supernatural entities, and many of them are given sort of the title of gods. But there are different kinds of gods in a way. And the Yunshen, the Genshin people, are kind of... not that they individually are the original gods or the primordial gods, but they are the primordial type of god, like the earliest type of god kind of thing, maybe? Or where gods come from, that sort of thing. Kind of hard to say without knowing more of the lore, but that's kind of the impression Monki gets. Because a lot of these gods, as far as Monki can tell, can come from very different origins and that sort of thing. So, and they weren't like always there. They were like, there's the Archon War, as they call it in English, where there were a bunch of gods and they fought and then it became the Seven and all of that. So, I'm curious to see where this goes. And kind of knowing the meaning helps with the trying to understand and piece together what all of this means, but we'll see, we'll see. Really run mention, yeah! Can't wait for season 2. Yeah, me too. Sounds like fun. You know, I haven't been keeping up with the manga of Frieren recently. I should go back and read it again. At some point, Monki seems to go through sort of, cycles in a way of hobbies. And so sometimes Monki's reading manga all day, all night, keeping up with all of the series, the ongoing series that I am following. And then sometimes Monki just complete manga desert. Hasn't read manga in a long time. So I gotta go back and catch up to a lot of things. Akane Banashi is also getting an anime soon, it sounds like. And Monki needs to catch up to that too. Monki thinks I'm probably far enough along that the anime will still be covering things that Monki already knows. But if I start reading the manga or watching the anime, sometimes I like to make sure I like progress one first before progressing the other. I remember back when I was watching it, Cuckoo Ranger had an entire separate subfile to explain the monsters, which were pop art styled yokai, IIRC. Oh, that's cool. Wait, what's Kaku Ranger? Kaku Ranger. Oh, Ninja Sentai Kaku Ranger. Looks colorful. Pop art styled yokai. That does sound pretty fun. Well, I've learned that Genshin is nothing name drops. I don't quite understand Eduardo. I can confirm, Latin Americans ride dinosaurs even in the present day. Oh, I see. Okay. Good to know. Though I guess Latin Americans are the people who have a lot more close heritage to the first peoples of the Americas, I suppose, because of the mixing. But specifically, I think it was supposed to be the first peoples who had the dinosaurs. The Organization of Fools? Where do I sign? The Confederacy of Dunces. Exactly, exactly. It finally released globally, so now everyone can have fun with horses. Oh, is that why there's sudden popularity? I never expected to get so attached. That's what I've heard a lot about Uma Musume, is that because of the premise, everyone really underestimates it, and then turns out it's actually really good. Both the game and the anime, I suppose. Monki hasn't tried it yet, so Monki doesn't know. Monki's still probably in the underestimating side of things, but it's interesting to see the popularity, because that does seem to imply that maybe Monki's underestimating. Also, the studio that did the Uma Musume anime turns out has done a lot of really fun, interesting anime. They're doing one right now that Monki is watching called Hikaru ga shinda natsu. The summer Hikaru died. It's really good. The best description I've heard of it. The best description I've heard of it is so good. Is boys Lovecraft. Because it's basically horror, and very kind of surreal horror, which is why it's not Lovecraftian. I don't think you could necessarily say it's Lovecraftian, but it does have some elements of that, and also elements of traditional Japanese horror as well. But also the main characters give off very clear boys' love vibes from the very first episode. But they do it in such a way that Monki also appreciates, where it's like, it's an important part of the story, but not any more so than like a typical story that involves romance. They don't make a big deal out of it in like oh, and look at this, it's boys' love. It's just part of the story. At least that's how Monki feels so far. So it's been a lot of fun to watch. And Monki doesn't typically like horror, but this kind of horror Monki can be mostly okay with, cause it's not gore horror, it's not gruesome, it's not shock horror. It's really kind of psychological, creepy here and there, but it's not overwhelming to Monki. So I've been enjoying it quite a lot. Highly recommend. Doop, doop, doop. Did it scroll too far again? It did. Let me make sure I know where I was. Okay. Think. Ha! Yeah, a lot of gacha games these days are very free-to-play friendly. That's really cool. That's not what I expect at all about from a genre whose definition is based on its monetization scheme. Monki would not have expected that. And it almost makes Monki wonder if it's still fair to consider gacha games a genre of games, or if gacha is just a mechanic and a monetization scheme that is now applied to other types of games, like League of Legends. I'm a sucker for cosmetic items, though. I know too. That might be why I also find that the hats monetization scheme makes a lot of sense to Monki, because Monki knows that I will have the desire for the hats. And that I will still be incentivized and rewarded for trying to give money to the developers of a game that I enjoy in a way, and I get rewarded in a way that I enjoy, without it making things unfair for people who do not have the funds to send to the developers. I just think that seems reasonable, you know? And the gacha element does add an element of fun. It makes the monetization element kind of more of another part of the gameplay in a way. But I don't know if it's possible. Maybe it's fundamentally not possible, but I wonder if there's a way to really balance the gacha so that it feels less like gambling and more like fun, you know? And I know they've done some things like that, like when they have pities and stuff, but usually those are so late in the in the roles that it really does feel like pity, not really like a fun game, you know? I was dumb enough to only get into gacha that is actively chasing your wallet. Well, I wouldn't say dumb enough, but I would say, yeah, that is a thing. That is a thing. Dang, I don't want to go. Oh, but there are some things I gotta take care of. Oh, okay, Hiroharu. Now, it was great seeing you again. Have fun, everyone. I'll hopefully see you all again. Okay, thank you so much for coming, Hiroharu. It was great to see you again. Drink a little more. New Vegas is one of the best games of its era. Other than the jank physics and occasional crashes, it still holds up. Good to know, good to know. With older games, that's always a risk. The jank is part of the charm. This play, right? Oh, plans got cancelled. I'm back. Ah! Welcome back. Well, I'm sorry your plans got cancelled, but also glad to have you. Also, allergen means like foreigner or stranger, right? I'm not 100% sure, because I tried looking it up when I was trying to figure out what it was supposed to mean. I think... Let's see. Meaning. Allergen. So, according to Wikipedia, it comes from Greek, translates to stranger, foreigner, or of another race. But it also belongs to the Gnostic tradition. That's what it was called. Gnosticism shows up a lot in Genshin. I believe here and there it shows up in the original Chinese version of Genshin as well. Like, I think some of the gods' names like Babatos, Barbatos? I don't know how you say it again in the English version. Babatos. The wind god. I think some of those names might come from the Gnostic tradition. And then you see the word Gnostic show up in like the battle passes, which also confused the heck out of me. I was like, what is a Gnostic hymn and what has it got to do with Genshin? So it seems like allergens have a strong sort of what do you call it? Mystical background as well. A mystical like meaning behind it beyond just the literal translation as stranger or foreigner. But it's a long Wikipedia article. I did not end up reading it, so I don't know what all those nuances are, and therefore I don't really know how much I personally vibe with the choice to translate Genshin as allergen. Maybe it makes sense, maybe it doesn't. Monki doesn't really know, but it certainly means that I did not understand what they were trying to say when they used the word allergen. And in fact, it also sounds a little confusing because, again, the traveler, the main the player character, is a stranger to this world, but the Senjian holders, the people who have the Senjian, the Yuanshan, they are not strangers or foreigners to this world. They were born into this world and then received this blessing. So I don't really know where they're going with that one. Not the original gods themselves, but new iterations of the original concept of a god. Something like that. Something like that. I get the feeling maybe it also plays into sort of that that field of study in China that talks about things like Shen, where Shen is almost like spirit, the spirit inside of you, your logical reasoning spirit, and your ethical spirit, that part of you. And so Yuan Shen almost is, yeah, almost like the primordial concept of a god. Like, it comes down to the sun that is inside of people. Theirs is particularly strong because in order to earn a shenjian, a vision, you're supposed to have really strong... And this is another localization choice that I'm not sure I agree with. They translate it as having strong ambition, but in Chinese, it's more like having a strong dream, having a strong wish. Dreams, really. And sometimes in the story dialogue, you'll hear people say things about having dreams and wishes. It's closer to that than ambition. I feel like the nuance of ambition in English is that you have a sense of drive more than anything, and that there's something that you really want to get and get to. And there is an element to that of like dreams and wishes, right? To have a really strong dream, you often have a really strong drive to accomplish that dream. But the nuance is very different, and I think using the word dream in English might have been closer nuance-wise to the way they talk about it in Chinese. I'm not sure, because I'm not an expert on Chinese, but that's the feeling I get. And if it comes down to that, your dreams, in a way, having a strong dream, is almost, perhaps, related to having really strong Shen inside of you. Maybe there's a relationship there, that your Shen is really strong and full of dreams and wishes. And that is what gets you to this state of becoming the primordial god, when those strong dreams and wishes inside of your Shen turn it into a Yuan Shen instead of just a regular Shen. Because I get the feeling, I'm not sure, but from what I understand of Shen and all of these things, I get the feeling that the word was chosen inherently to represent, in some ways, to hearken to this concept that there is Shen in all of us. So it's used on this grandiose scale to talk about these crazy gods that can move in worlds and create and destroy and all of these things. And yet also, on the smaller scale of these smaller scale gods with the Shenjian, with the eyes of God, who are like wandering around the world. And then maybe taking it further to the Shen that is inside everyone, even if it's not visible and not providing you with supernatural powers per se. Maybe that's just a Monki interpretation, but from the very beginning, Monki felt like this might be a theme to the lore of Genshin. I never expected to get so into it, but about a week and change in, I have made it my goal to have all my horses achieve their dreams. Yes! I like that. I appreciate that. I see you've developed a connection with your horses. Oh, I love Hikaru. It's so good. I thought you in particular might enjoy it, Shatter, since you're such a fan of horror and Lovecraft and these sorts of things. It's so neat to explore the characters. And it's got a very classic Inaka setting as well for Japanese horror. And so it's also really fun to hear their accents. It's so different from Tokyo Ben, from Kanto Ben. It's very out there. It reminds me of listening to Chihaya Furu. Also had some characters with very strong non-standard accents. I took pictures of the booth they had set up at AX. I got a selfie with Hikaru. Oh, that's cool. story about gachas and being free-to-play friendly, it's actually the Umamusume devs who are one of the first to display the actual gacha rates in-game. Thanks, Granblue Lamau. Ah! I forgot, I did recently hear that Umamusume and Granblue have the same devs. That's really cool. Was that before all the regulations as well? Because I know China at least has regulations. I don't know if Japan has regulations when it comes to displaying things like gacha rates and whatnot. But it is very nice of them to do that. It's a very good thing. I know, happy anniversary. Xbox, welcome. Good to see you. Thank you for the happy anniversary. My goodness, what convocation did I just stumble upon? I don't know. Did you come in while Monki was ranting about something? My bad for joining late, gang. I may have been grinding Night Rain with my friends. Oh, I have not heard of Night Rain. Granblue might have directly caused that legislation, Lamau. Oh, interesting. Once people realized how much nicer it is to have the percentages, everyone started wondering, well, why doesn't this other game have it? Makes sense to me. Leaders of the pack there. Actually, I wasn't aware that Granblue had gacha elements. I hadn't even considered. People really wanted a particular unit when they released. Oh, interesting. Night Rain is the Elden Ring multiplayer game. There was a new update today. Oh, there's a multiplayer Elden Ring. That's cool. That's, I hadn't heard about it, but Elden Ring did so well. I hope the multiplayer's doing well too. Oh my, did I catch up? Did Monki miraculously catch up somehow? Hello! Hello, people of the future. Monki has come to meet you. Oh my goodness, and look at the time. Oh boy. Understand entirely, to be fair. Might just be biased, but Andira is one of my favorite units. Oh. Well, present tense now. Present! I am in the present. Yes. But, I know I hate to say this, but unfortunately, I do think it's about that time. It's at least very close to about that time. Monki didn't realize I was ranting for this long. I think catching up might have been your guys' hint to me that, maybe Monki, how long's it been? It's almost 3 hours? Turns out Monki can talk for a long time. Well, Monki would love to rant to all of you more about Genshin and Monki's thoughts on Genshin, but maybe we'll have to save that for another time. Also, someone may need to catch up on the Monki lore. Is now actually coming back? Or are the streams just a yearly thing now? Good question, A-Fox. Unfortunately, Monki does not have a good answer for you. I really am sorry that it really has been almost exactly 1 year since the last time I streamed, because my last stream was our fourth year anniversary, and now we're at exactly 5 years. But Monki is not in a place right now where I can really foresee how much time I will have for streaming. I want to make promises. I want to say, and this will be the start of more streaming again. But I'm pretty sure that's what I said last time, and that didn't work out, did it? I do really apologize. But I think rather than making promises that I'm not sure I can keep, I'll just have to say, I'm not sure. I will continue to try my best, as Monki always does. I try my best. But I'm just gonna have to play it by ear and see how often I might be able to stream. Hopefully more than once in the next year. But we'll have to see. But thank you for asking, A-Fox. It is an important question. Time. Yeah. I was content to enjoy the monkey while we had the chance. Well, oh, thank you so much, Shatter. I appreciate all of you showing up despite the fact that monkey has been so clearly inconsistent. has not been doing the streaming very much. But having you all here and having you listen to my rants has made this so much fun. The time just flew by, and it really, really incentivizes me to try to find more time for us to do this more often. We'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. Well, one stream is better than no streams. Oh, thank you, A-Fox. I was hoping that. I will say Monkey was a little anxious that I hope one stream is better than no streams. Or is everyone going to be like, what is wrong with you? What is this once a year Monkey? And yeah. But I'm glad this has been a lot of fun. Glad I at least joined right before it ended. Yeah, I'm so glad I got to chat with you, A-Fox, even though it wasn't for very long. Hearts. Oh, thank you, Waffle. Oh, more hearts. Thank you. Happy to see you again, Mo. Happy to see you. We missed you. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I literally saw the scheduled event the other day and was like, even if I'm working, I'm gonna find a way to join and say hello. Oh, Hiroharu, thank you so much. That's really sweet of you. I really appreciate it. So when closing the store, I put on headphones and tuned in. Wow. Oh, thank you so much. Oh my goodness. You're so sweet. You're all so wonderful. And I'm so lucky to have all of you. I'm so lucky that even if Monkey only shows up once a year, hopefully that's not the case, but even if I still get to hang out with and chat with all of you, it's been really great. And also for those of you even who don't like to chat so much, but who like to just come hang out and listen, that Monkey appreciates all of you so much. Oh, okay. Okay, Monkey's alarm. I don't know if the mic picked it up at all. But Monkey's alarm saying, okay, you really gotta stop now. But you really gotta stop now alarm kind of went off. So I think it's that time. Even though Monkey would love to stick around a bit longer and keep chatting with y'all. Will always do my best to show up to Null streams. Thank you. Good luck for the foreseeable future. Thank you so much. You too, A-Fox. I'm sure so much has happened for all of you in the past 5 years as well. I don't know where all of you are at in your lives, but I hope you're all doing well and on some sort of upward trajectory, or even if it's like a neutral trajectory. Honestly, as long as where you're at is a pretty comfortable place, neutral trajectory is wonderful. That's maybe Monkey's favorite, even more so than upward trajectory. So I'm wishing all of you well, and wow, I wonder how far have we all come in the past 5 years? How were things for you 5 years ago, and how are they now? Just a little thing to think about. Monkey would love to hear, but Monkey can't stick around, unfortunately. So wishing you all well. Thank you so much for coming. It was really nice to see you again now. It was good to see you, Shatter. I've been missing all of you and being able to chat with all of you. Don't be a stranger. If here, then on Discord, lol. You know, I'm not in the habit of doing the Discord thing. I'm still not super used to it, even after 5 years. But Slowly, I might be starting to get used to it. So let me see if I can. Maybe I can try to be more active on Discord. Again, not sure how my life is going to go. Things are kind of in the air right now. So I can't make any promises, but that's a thing I'll keep in mind. I will try to do the Discord thing. Those of you who have tried to contact me on Discord know that I'm really terrible at it, but I will try my best. I will see you next time now. Sounds good, Hiroharu. Thank you so much for coming. And looking forward to next time. Jester Monkey, thank you. If not here, then on Discord. Oh, yes, got you. I think I read it correctly, even though there was typoed. Take care, Monkey. Thank you, Waffle. Thank you. You take care as well. Okay, alright. Thank you all so much for coming. And now I suppose it's time for me to say, with this meeting of the Tianshi Club is now officially adjourned. Thank you so much, everyone. It was so much fun. I'm so glad I got to do this again, and hopefully soon. We'll see. Hopefully soon. Even if it's Monkey soon TM, which I guess it was this last time. Thank you all so much. You're all so wonderful. And I will see you next time. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.